and welcome to the Inbetween podcast. I'm your usual host, Joe Scone. I'm joined here by Tony Tones and RT. How are you, Tony?
Bonjour, very French today.
Wow, you love to hear it.
Yeah,
Uh, oh,
insert political joke here.
I, you know, not the previous podcast, but the podcast before, I got a delivery during the podcast.
Oh, yes,
I
yes.
completely forgot to talk about it in the next podcast. The delivery that I got, which was a
What was the
tech-related
delivery? I don't
delivery.
even remember what it was.
It's a pair of Jaybird Vista wireless
Oh,
earphones.
right, yeah.
So basically, if you know or don't know, I do a lot of biking, and I've also started running as well. So I looked into wireless earphones. I got first. I got some really cheap ones. I'll see if I can find them. The way it wasn't cheap. My sister's in I don't know if you know about it, this thing called Amazon Vine, where if you review enough products on Amazon, you get invited to this program where you can basically they'll send you free products and then you write a review
Right.
for it and then you get to keep it. That's that.
So do you get into this program of if people think your reviews are good, because I
Yeah,
know you can
yeah.
say this review is helpful on Amazon.
So my sister just reviewed stuff. She got on this program and then she was like, "Oh, there's an electronics section. Do you think anything would be interesting?" I was like, "I use wired earphones and it's really fucking annoying to use wired earphones when you're cycling and running." And I was like, "I kind of want to try to use wireless earphones." And I got these things called these TD46. They're like Chinese AirPods. I don't know where the fuck
Right.
they're from, but basically
They like AirPods.
yeah, they're sort of like black
Okay.
AirPods. Let me pull them
Oh,
up.
okay.
Has a like a little charging case and stuff. I think they're probably like 20 quid if you buy them, like not reviewed. But basically, they're fine. But the problem, what I realized was, I love using wireless earphones when I'm out exercising on my bike and running. But the problem was they kept falling out my fucking ears. That was a
Yeah.
huge problem with
If
these
they don't
cheap
have
wireless earphones.
that's a problem with the real Apple AirPods as well. Like the base ones don't have proper things that fit into some people's ears.
So these are the Jaybird Vistas. They're in blue because for some reason, if you normally they're in black, but if you get them in blue, they're like £30 cheaper in blue. And I was like, I don't care about the color of my earphones. I'll just get them in blue.
Wait, what?
And
Sure.
yeah,
Okay, interesting. Maybe
um,
get rid of them. Maybe.
so I will start by saying, yeah, there's probably better wireless earphones you can get. Like I think the Sony AM4 or whatever the hell they're called are better, but I wanted earphones that will not come out of my ears or the AirPods, whatever. But I
Yeah.
want my criteria for earphones were ones that will stay in my ears and ones that are waterproof. If you don't know, a lot of earphones are water resistant. The Jaybird Vista 2s are waterproof. And I go cycling in the rain all the time. I go all year round, so being waterproof is very, very important to me. And they do stay in my ears. They are really, really good at staying in your ears. I know a lot of because I was specifically looking at reviews of people doing exercise wearing earphones, because that's another thing. I didn't get wireless headphones because I wear a bike helmet on my bike, so I need to wear earphones. Um, they have these things called ear gels, which basically I was really confused the first time I got these because I had no idea how they went in your ears. I had to look up a video of someone else putting them in your ears, but they go in like this, and then the ear gel goes into like one of the like you have like holes in your ear canal. They sort of sit
Yeah.
in the hole, like it hooks onto it, sort of,
Yeah.
and then that way they really stay in your ears. I haven't had them fall out yet. They've been absolutely perfect for the past. I've had them about I guess 4 weeks if I've got them delivered on the two podcasts ago. So yeah, I've been using them for a month and they've been really good. Haven't had a single problem with them. The battery life's amazing. They do come with some software. So they have ANC and they have what's called surround sense. So they have microphones built into them and you can have ANC with a microphone will get rid of like white noise, so it'll get rid of like cabin noise. So if you're in a car or like an airplane, I've used them in the car and the ANC is really good in the car. I haven't been on an airplane, so I can't tell you if they're good on an airplane. ANC is useless on a bike or running though. Um, then so I tried surround sense, And surround sounds basically it takes noise from outside with microphones and pipes it into your ears. So you can be like, when I'm out on a bike, I can be listening to music and still be able to hear cars and stuff,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
important stuff.
Like transparency mode for
Yeah,
it is very useful.
surround sense is transparency mode for
Yeah,
vendors.
I was saying like when you have these like good buds in your ears that like block a lot of sound just like naturally because like good
Mm.
isolation, like you kind of need it if you want to keep them in.
So I tried surround sense. It does have like different settings. There was like how much sound it lets in. It has a slider, and then there's also wind filters, like low, medium, high. Because a big
Right.
problem with letting sound in is as soon as you start going fast, the
Yeah.
wind is gonna get really, really loud, and you're not gonna be able to hear
Yeah.
anything. Um,
Do you want to get rid of that?
I tried all the settings on surround sense. I literally tried everything. I could not get it to work like the way I wanted it while riding a bike because the
Really?
wind
Oh, okay.
sounds. Well, it was either the wind sounds were too much for the the reduction like cancelling out to work, or what would happen was it would do a really good job at cancelling it out on the wind filter, but then every couple of seconds it would let a bit in because it could I was constantly moving around my head and there was different amount of winds and stuff.
Yeah,
It's
different frequencies being
it's a lot harder than
louder.
A and C because I'm constantly changing sound levels and how much wind's coming through. So what would happen was the earphone it would be playing music and be like pop 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 pop. It would like pop in and out while I was cycling, and I actually found that after using that for a long like trying to use that, my favorite mode on a bike was just off. So I didn't like ANC or surround sense. My favorite mode on a bike was off, and it also saves battery because I think you lose like 3 hours if you have like ANC or
Yeah,
surround
it's
sense on.
pretty intensive. It's from what like the stuff I've used as well on my earbuds.
So it's a shame because it was a really windy day, so it was sort of worst case scenario. But I did try it on other days, and I still didn't like surround sense to off, which is fine because again I got them because they stay in your ears and they're waterproof. Um, walking so running and walking with surround sense is a completely different story there because there's a massive difference in speed, which means a massive difference in amount of wind that's going to be hitting your ears.
Hmm.
Walking is fantastic with surround sense. I found walking really, really good with surround sense because every time I need to cross a road, of course I'm going to look anyway, but I can tell when a car's about to come. I can tell if there's someone near me. Surround sense is really, really good for that. Um, Running, once you pick up speed, the wind does start to come back in, but I never found it to be too much of a problem. And I did like when I was going down, busy roads where they may not be able to see me as well. It was really useful to know that I could still hear the cars coming if I needed to
Yeah.
get out of the way, which was super
So
useful.
you don't like switch between the modes
Yeah,
like
yeah,
as
yeah,
you go.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I
okay,
do.
okay, right.
So
Uh,
basically, they
So is
have
it easy to do then? Because it's quite
yes,
difficult on my
yes.
one to do that.
It's very easy. So
Okay.
they have touch control. They have like a physical button press, and they have tap
Yeah.
controls. So you go just
Yeah.
so I think I have it on default and I found it perfect. So pressing on the left or the right. Oh, each earphone has you can bind a control to an individual earphone, and they're all customizable.
Yeah, that
So
makes
one thing it
sense.
does by default is if you press and hold down your left earphone, it will turn your sound down. If you press and hold your
Yeah.
right earphone, it will turn your volume up. For example, is how that's done different. Pressing once will pause. I think double pressing goes next track, left is previous track, and then the useful one is you can switch sound management by double tapping. So usually what I'll do
Oh,
is I
okay.
will go, I'll walk for a bit with like surround sense on, or I won't have surround sense on, and I'll get to a part where I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I can hear if a car's coming because could be a dangerous road. I'll just tap surround sense on, and then I can hear cars. Or like I'm listening to music in the kitchen and someone starts to talk to me, surround sense, or even just pause with the button press.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It does have a feature where if you take out an earphone, it will automatically pause your music. And I know
Mm-hmm.
you can have it set up so um, you can just have one earphone playing.
Yeah.
I did have a bug though where it kept thinking I was taking it out of my ear, even though I wasn't, because of how much I move around when I'm biking and stuff. So I had to turn that feature off because I didn't find it crazy useful
That
anyway. If I'm taking my earphones out, I can hear and I can just press the button to pause if I want to pause. Like it's
yeah,
not
I
a
don't know. That shouldn't be. Like, that sounds like they've got like the sensor in a really bad position. That it shouldn't matter if you're moving about.
mm,
Like the one like the Sony earbuds and I think the Apple AirPods they do like a I think they send like an infrared like
mm,
light wave and then like it like try and detect for some sort of bounce back. I think
mm.
it seems weird to me that doesn't work.
Yeah, the charge time's really good on them. The battery lasts forever, and I think I've only had to charge the case once since I've had them. USB
Do they have
C, and
wireless charging? Don't
yeah,
they?
the wireless charging in the earphones in the case. I think
Yeah.
both. One thing, unfortunately, that happened though was I had my earphone case with me when I was running in my back pocket because I have a cycling jacket, so it has a zip at the back. And I went running and I forgot to do the zip up. So I actually dropped them on the road accidentally.
Oh no.
And I don't know if it was just the thud of them falling to the floor or if it was a car ran over them, but when I cycled back to where I was running, I found them like the lid had like came off,
Oh
and
right.
me and my dad managed to put it back on, and it seems to work perfectly now. Because I know the case isn't rated as highly for. I think the case isn't IP68 or whatever the earphones are. It's not
Right.
rated as highly for as the
Yeah, I guess
earphone.
they're not
Like
in your ears,
the
but
what one that's what the case isn't waterproof, but the earphones are.
yeah.
I think the case is water resistant, so it's got a few scratches on it, but it appears to be working fine. Not something I can claim. I think there is like warranty, but I can't claim warranty if I dropped it. That was my fault. One thing that is useful though is you can track your earbuds. So if you have location services turned on always, um, it will track where you last had your case or your earphones, which is very useful if you accidentally drop it on the floor when you're out doing exercise. Um,
Yeah, that is pretty useful.
but you do have to, for it to work, you have to have your location services to always tracking on. It's not just per app, which you can do with Apple now. You have to have it always on as like a global thing. So that's something.
Oh right. Interesting.
Because I had it to only when I'm using this app. But in order
Yeah.
for it to work when I wasn't using the Jaybird Vista app, it needed to be able to, because I'm not going to be using the Jaybird Vista app when I'm out on my bike cycling. I'm going to have it in my
Is
pocket
it an
playing
easy
music.
toggle to turn global
Yeah,
location? Okay.
yeah. Apple's made it really easy to like say I don't want this person to track my information or track my ads, or
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want this person to have my location. You can toggle that stuff on really easy on an iPhone.
Android's gone better over the last couple of years as
Mm,
well. Like it is getting easier to turn these things off. Although I still think both have like sneaky things that they
mm.
keep on, but
Yeah,
I think they're gonna be forced to get better, especially as like
but
regulations come in place.
my review for the Jaybird Vistas 2 basically is for what I wanted, they're really good. They never come out my ears and they're
How
waterproof.
how much are they? By the way, I think
Um,
that's one thing I don't know about them.
so the blue versions are 160, I think.
Okay, they're like normally like 190.
Yeah, I think the black versions are like 190.
Because it sounds like they had like loads of blue in stock, and I was like, oh shit, we need to get rid of them.
I guess it's just not a popular color, but that's like that may sound like a lot of people, but like wireless earphones are pretty expensive, especially they have stuff like
Yes.
ANC,
Yeah.
waterproof.
Well, the thing is they have to like miniaturize the actual sound, like the actual like what's the word? Like the actual I can't think of the word, but the thing that actually like produces the sound. They have to have like an actual chip dedicated to like figuring out how to like process the sound. It needs
But the
like a
thing is,
Bluetooth and like wireless
when
mode.
you have stuff like surround sense and ANC, you need a bunch of microphones inside the earphone
Yeah, yeah.
to pick up.
So you need microphones, you need the speaker, you need wireless, you need like the controls, it needs to then be like all tested, it needs to like have the
But
batteries inside
basically,
there. It's
from
just
what
very
from
complicated.
my research, these are some of the best. exercise earphones, and I agree with that. They're perfect for what I want them for. So there's
Yeah,
that. Joe's
sound
tech
pretty
review.
good.
I've done a few tech
Only
reviews
took
on the
15 minutes.
I did. I did an Xbox Series 2 controller review. Oh,
Oh yes.
update on the Xbox Series controller 2. I only play Rocket League by boosting with the back triggers now. These back triggers are so fucking useful. I literally
Wait, how do you boost normally?
you press the
Oh
B
wait,
button
using the.
on the
Oh, I
phone.
see. Oh,
But it's
okay,
so much
okay.
easier to press the back button to boost that I've pretty much been only using the back button now. Because
Right,
basically
makes sense.
the back buttons by default are just bound to your face buttons, so they're just like alternative face buttons. Or you can
Okay.
go into the settings and then bind them to different things if you need more keys, which is super useful because it means they basically act as face buttons without you having to do anything, which
Right,
is super useful.
interesting.
So yeah,
So,
I'm really happy with the Xbox Series X Elite Series 2, and I'm really happy with the Jaybird Vistas. So I also
both
reviewed
very expensive products.
Tony. I also do budget products. The Logitech G305, best fucking mouse I ever got, and it's super cheap as well. So
Yeah, that's true. It is like the
um
cheapest
oh
high quality mouse.
something to mention as well. Our friend Vietnam Dave keeps calling me a Logitech shell. One, I was downloading the software for the Jaybird Vistas 2, and I opened the app, and I shit you not, Jaybird Vistas 2, on the download page it says a Logitech company. Jaybird Vistas 2s are a subsidiary of Logitech. I
Oh
shit you not,
no.
I had no idea they were owned by Logitech before I got them. So I've not. There's not some like
Now we know.
There's not some Logitech conspiracy where I only get
I
Logitech
don't know
products.
about that one. I have to keep an eye on this space.
Right.
Any more Logitech? I mean, if Xbox controller becomes a Logitech brand, we know what's
Mm.
happening.
Mm. Well, the podcast is brought to you on a Logitech webcam. I mean,
Yeah.
does anyone else do like webcam? I feel like Logitech just has the market
Uh,
on cheap, okay
no,
stuff.
there are definitely other people do webcams
I'm
now. I think
listening to
are actually
Tony on
better.
Logitech G Pro wireless headphones.
Don't they own Blue now?
Yeah, they own Blue Yay, so they would have owned that piece
Yeah.
of shit mic that I used to have, and the not piece of shit mic that
Well,
they
I'm just
have.
saying I'm using a Blue yet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not the Yeti. The
Well,
Yeti I can't remember what it's called now, but the other one that's not
well,
quite.
the G Pro wirelesses come with a Yeti mic.
Yeah, but it doesn't have like the integrated like proper like amplifier DAC and.
No, actually, the mic itself is really good because people have plugged these into the audio jack. It's just the wireless transition makes it
Yeah,
sound
yeah.
not great.
If you plug into the audio jack though, you then get the sound card of your computer. That makes sense. But when it's like in the headset, surely it's gonna be shit.
It's just wireless mics aren't very good. Like the best ones I've
Yeah.
seen are apparent. So the best wireless mics are the Corsair Virtuoso. I think the Steel series has an okay like wireless mic, and then the Antlion mod mic, the Bluetooth one, apparently is supposed to be pretty good. But then again, with
Right.
Bluetooth, you have latency, so you have to take that with a grain
Uh,
of salt.
that's true, but you're using Bluetooth with your earbuds.
Yeah, but I don't care about latency when I'm listening to music. But a conversation is a bit
No, no.
different.
Yeah, but you can notice when listening to YouTube stuff, and I have not noticed a problem. So
I'm not saying like I'm not talking about videos. I'm talking about like when you're gaming, and like
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
you'll be when you need to give like key information to your friend through a microphone.
But
You'll be able to feel the latency.
I guess, but I think you can also visibly see like you're very susceptible to like audio being like separate from like from visuals. Like you expect it to be like a very specific delay like based on like the speed of sound. And if that's different, your brain's like, oh wait a minute, they're speaking out of sync. And I'm just saying I don't notice that with like Bluetooth earbuds. So
Right.
I'm not sure about that one. And also I would say as well, like as we go on like past Bluetooth 5.0, the latency has been improved as they've been like tuned for audio.
I think the Jaybird Vistas are 5.0. 5.1 is the new one, right? But I think
Yeah, sure. I don't know anything about anything newer than that.
I don't know. Is there
there's
something newer than that?
there's uh Yeah, but it's very
NDA,
new.
NDA.
5 point no. 5.2 exists, but it's not like super popular right now. And 5.3 specs I think have been created.
I think I looked into like 5.1 and 5.2, and it's still like the latency wasn't where I wanted it compared to USB 2.4 gigahertz.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which
That's
is
fair.
why I went for a gaming headset over like a Sony XM4 or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's still fair criticism, I think.
but yeah, that's enough tech talk for 1 week. Um, if you don't know, Tony works with Bluetooth, so he's a bit more knowledgeable than me on the subject.
Yeah, but I don't have. The only thing I don't have is like the problem is right. There's
Yeah.
like implementation side of it that really like messes with things.
Mm,
Like so a lot of times like how badly it's implemented, but there is like a genuine um like you can get much better like Wi-Fi like those like radio frequencies
mm.
than Bluetooth. I don't know why that is.
Oh, this is
It
one thing I
seems.
wanted to mention. These are waterproof, and I thought, hey, waterproof, that means I could use them in a pool. Until someone on Reddit pointed out to somebody else who had the same idea as me, where would you put your phone, and also how is Bluetooth going to go through water?
Hmm.
That's going to be impossible. And I was like, ah,
Yeah,
yes,
but
that doesn't make any sense. So
well,
yeah,
what is the
there'd be good. There'd be good earplugs. There'd be good earplugs.
yeah.
Anyway. Warner Brothers Multiverse is the brand new fighter from Warner Brothers. We have a picture of Big Chungus here because I feel like if I show the actual trailer, I'm going to get fucking copy strikes by Warner Brothers. So I'll just describe there's a bald man with glasses. He's talking. Um, yeah, he's talking. Oh, there's a bunch of different. So they have like superheroes. They have like Superman, Batman. There's Big Bunny, of course. My number one question is Big Chungus coming as a skin for, you know, um, Bugs Bunny, Big Chungus skin. We need that. It seems like there's a lot of these Smash Bro fighters coming out now because we had the Nickelodeon I was about to say Battle for Bikini Bottom, Nickelodeon All Star Fighters or whatever it was called, and
Yeah,
I think the big thing with that one was, of course, this one has rollback netcode as well, which is a big thing in fighting games. Um, the big thing about this one is people were complaining about the Nickelodeon one cheaping out because they didn't get the original voice actors. They didn't get any voice actors. They just had completely silence for all the characters, which people are
that's a
like.
bit
It
awkward.
feels kind of weird. Obviously,
Yeah,
it would have cost a lot more to get the voice actors, but people seemed a bit more optimistic about this one because they have the voice actors, or at least all the characters are voice acted. I don't know if they're the original voice actors or not, but it's pretty cool. And also, this one's going to be free to play versus pay to play, as the Nickelodeon one was.
pay to play.
Pay to play, yeah. This one's free to
That
play.
I'm
Um,
yeah. I'm just saying like it just seems so unusual in this day and age. Pay to play.
yeah, I mean, fight. I don't think there's ever really been a big free to play fighter. I think traditionally, fighting games have always been able to keep their core demographic and keep their
They've
games
also been
paid.
always been able to like get like tons of money off skins in fighting
Oh,
games.
Tony, you're gonna have the ability to see Superman versus Ultra Instinct Shaggy. So
Oh my god,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to this
in
one.
the video they literally show him like he's going like Super Saiyan in the fucking video right now. So I have to say, I think Ultra Instinct Shaggy is gonna be the best character on day one. So it's gonna be
Can only
unstoppable.
hope.
Wait, we get Ultra Instinct Shaggy versus Big Chungus. I just
Oh
realized
my
this.
god, but no Thanos though.
Unfortunately, Warner Brothers does not own Marvel, so
No, not yet.
well, one of the big games I think for fighting was like DC versus Capcom or whatever it was called.
Oh yeah. That's a good.
There is like a really popular fighting game where it's a bunch of like superheroes versus like Capcom characters, or it's like one of the, I don't play fighting games. Let's move on. Next up we have
Okay.
Dead by Daylight, Portrait of a Killer. There is a new killer, the artist. Looks pretty cool. Another original IP killer. Let's have a look if we have the abilities revealed yet. Name Karina Mora. Game editor is the Bird Lady, the Matron of Crows. So perks are. Let's see. Grim Embrace. Your active servitude to the entity has not gone unnoticed. Each time a survivor is hooked for the first time, Grim Embrace gains a token. Upon reaching 4 totems, Grim Embrace activates. The entity blocks all generators for 20 to 30 seconds. The aura of the obsession is real to you for 4 seconds. Yeah, that seems okay. So basically, every time you hook a survivor for the first time, you get to block all the jennies, and then you get to see the obsession that you're chasing. I guess she has another obsession perk to combo with that. Let's have a look. At the start of the trial, 4 random hooks are charged into Scourge hooks. The auras of Scourge hooks are revealed to you in white each time a survivor is hooked. On a Scourge hook, the following effects apply. The generator with the most progression explodes, instantly losing 9 to 15% of its progression and starting to regress. Survivors repairing generator will scream, revealing their location. Okay, this killer has a lot of stalling mechanics. This killer seems to be all about like slowing people down. You reveal the true power of the totems hidden within their remains. You see the aura of cleansed totems. You can perform a ritual of a cleansed totem to resurrect it to a rekindled totem. The more rekindled totems you create, the greater their effects. So 1 totem reduces the healing speed of survivors, 2 repair speed, 3 recovery speed, and then 4 reduce gate opening speed. When a rekindled totem is cleansed, its remains are consumed by the entity. So it seems like you have a tug of war where every time they cleanse a totem, you can turn it into a rekindled totem, and then once they cleanse the rekindled totem, that totem's then gone. So it's like, yeah, they're going to be doing some interesting stuff with totems. Weapon, sharp pallet blade, just like a knife that you launch at people, but the power is the Birds of Torment. Press the power button to charge Birds of Torment. Once fully charged, tap the attack button to summon Dire Crow. This action can be repeated in quick succession by continuously holding the power button and tapping the attack once again. When at least 1 Dire Crow is consumed, it stays idle for a limited amount of time. Spawning a new Dire Crow extends the time they previously spawned. Dire Crow stays idle. Tap the ability button to propel the Dire Crows into flight. Dire Crows can inflict damage for a short distance when flying. This is indicated by the Dire Crow's flight power. So it seems like you summon crows and then you shoot them flying at survivors to deal damage.
Do you do anything with your hands though? Like I feel like.
Sorry, what do you mean? The killer's got a knife.
Well, right, but like she's got like weird hands, right?
They'll probably come into play with her Mori. What they usually do is every killer has a Mori where they have like a unique kill.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Her hands are looking like the fucking creatures from Prey 2017, like the morph creatures.
Yeah. Oh, imagine those like on your hand. Wait, what if your hands in that game were mimics this whole time?
Okay, interesting killer. And then
I feel like I don't know. Like I feel it looks more interesting than like it sounds to me, but I don't play the game, so.
Yeah, I played it on Halloween and played against some of the newer killers. It was pretty fun to play. I'm still trying to get enough people on that I can have my own custom lobby.
Yeah.
We're always so close, and then I'm like 1 person away. I'm like, there'll be like 3 or 4 of us. And I'm like, man, if we got another person on Dead by Daylight, we could just run our own lobbies. That was something interesting I did recently. We just got a bunch of us on Crab Game, and we were just running our own Crab Game lobbies, and that was really fun. And you know what was really fun? Was because it didn't matter how many of us there were, we could still run the lobbies, unlike the fucking Fall Guys custom games where you need a certain amount of people to start a game, where you're really locked out of what you can do in that custom game thing.
Yeah, like surely you can make limit. Like kind of this is like Fall Guys, but could they not just limit it like how much you? Because I assume you can still like earn crowns and like currency if you do.
No, I don't think
custom
so.
Lobbies? Oh, there's no problem at all. Then that's dumb.
Yeah. So we have Jonah comes with 3 perks. Overcome.
Okay. Is Jonah going to be like? I feel like I feel like the most memorable update
Yeah.
to Dead by Daylight that I can remember. Like, I was like, "What is this shitty Survivor?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm really looking forward to Survivor." Is this another one of those instances, or is this like a what's your opinion on the Survivor?
I gotta read the abilities first because I haven't read them yet.
Okay.
Whenever you become an injured, you return the movement speed burst for 2 additional seconds. Overcome becomes exhausted status effect for 60 to 40 seconds. So it's a new exhaust perk. So basically, you get an extra taking a hit. You get an extra amount of sprint whenever you get hit. That's super useful, but it's an exhaust perk, which means you can't use it with sprint burst.
Oh right,
The
that's what that
one
means, does it?
balance landing, dead hard. A lot of the exhausted perks that are really really good, but you only want to take one because when you're exhausted you can't use the other ones, so they're sort of exclusive. You can try and use like dead hard and balance landing or sprint burst in the same thing, but you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot there.
It's the same. Yeah, okay, the same cooldown in a way.
You start the trial with 1 to 3 token scaling and gain a token each time you succeed at a great skill check, up to a maximum of 5 tokens. Each time a survivor cooperating with you on the same generator fails a skill check, corrective action consumes 1 token, transforming their failed skill checks into good skill checks instead. This is a killer to teach people how to play the game. You get your friend.
Really?
You get your friend. This guy's listed as easy, and I can see this now. So you get extra sprinting when you get hit. And also, every time your friend on a generator fails their skill check, you can make up for it by doing great skill checks. So this seems like a perfect survivor to help newer players get into the game. Let's read the last perk. When it seems like your number is up, you consider a way to recalculate the odds. Press and hold the active ability button near a dull or hex totem to blend it to create a boon totem. Soft chimes ring out within a radius of 24 meters. Survivors inside the boom totem range benefit from the following effects. 100% bonus to recovery speed. Unlocks the self-recovery ability, allowing you to fully recover from the dying state. So this woman has... usually when they have a killer and a survivor, their perks will sort of mirror each other. They'll kind of be opposites of each other to make it like really interesting when they go against each other. So this killer's all about like stalling and like keeping totems up. This survivor is all about helping newer players and unlocking the ability to turn a totem into like a buff totem for your entire team when they're in the radius of it, which is pretty interesting. Like, I think that's the first time as a survivor you can actually interact with totems other than destroying them, which is pretty interesting to see. I think this kill is interesting because I think if you have a perk that fundamentally changes the way you play the game, it's always going to be interesting. And I like the direction this character's going, where it's sort of much easier to get newer players into the game. I think that's
is that like a big hurdle at the moment, like trying to get them to understand how to play a survivor?
I guess if like lots more people were coming in from like other horror, like they were watching the horror movies and then they go, oh, there's a game where you can play as this character sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of new players came in when they had Stranger Things, but that's gone now. So
yeah, I don't understand that one. They should have got a longer license.
So I think out of all of these perks, I think Boon Totems are maybe. I would have to see how strong it is. I think Overcome is always going to be one you would want to unlock for any other survivor because it always seems useful as an exhaust perk. And then I think Corrective Action is just going to be unique to Jonah. I think it's just a perk where you play Jonah if you want to help out newer players. I don't think you particularly want this at a higher level. I think if you're playing at a higher level with better opponents, there's going to be way less failed skill checks unless you're playing... You could specifically use it to counter like a killer that makes you have worse skill checks with like a hex or something. But the thing is, you never know which killer you're playing against. That's one thing.
Yeah.
There's certain perks on survivors where you load in, and it's like before you load in, you're like, oh, this perk would be really good against this killer, but you have no idea which killer you're facing before you go in. So it's like a lot of perks feel kind of wasted that way.
Should there be like one perk slot that you could like change after you know who you're playing against? Maybe
that would be interesting. Maybe for
maybe like as its own mode or something.
I would say that would be interesting for ranked play, but you're always in ranked play in Dead by Daylight.
Oh right,
It
okay.
has like the system where you have like a MMR that goes up and down based on how you
Yeah,
performed in a game, like the normal
yeah,
queue. Um, that would be interesting to see, like, because the killer always knows which survivor you are.
yeah.
Because he gets to see all 4 survivors in the lobby,
Yeah,
and usually until you get to like a higher level, the survivor will be using like at least one of their unique perks. Like if you see a Laurie Strode, you can be like, she probably has Decisive Strike. Bill
yeah.
probably has Borrow Time, like stuff like that. Or you see a survivor
Okay.
and you go, they probably have this perk. Whereas if you see a killer, you immediately know one of their. You immediately know one of the. You immediately know their power definitely. So I guess it's
Yeah,
sort of balanced in that way, where I guess the game is sort of survivor. They feel like the game's enough survivor focused that giving the killer the advantage of knowing the survivors and giving the survivors not knowing who the killer is the advantage. I have no
yeah.
idea
I guess
about the current meta
that's true.
state, but that's what they've decided based on these design decisions.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay, that's fair.
anyway, so that's the new chapter. Looks pretty cool from what I can see. I'm interested to try out that one. Speaking of spooky things, Alien Isolation is coming to iOS and Android on December 16th. This one kind of was like, what the fuck? Where the hell did this come from? I think, wait, so Alien Isolation came out in 2014, I think? Right?
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, 2014. Like, I've played an amount of Alien Isolation. I'm not sure how much. Let me just check on Steam. I like it. From what I played of Alien Isolation, I really liked it. It was giving me like it gives like slight immersive sim vibes, but it's not really an immersive sim. It's more like a survival horror sort of game.
Yeah.
I thought
I
it I
agree
thought
with
it was
that.
just gonna be like you and the xenomorph on an abandoned space station, but it's more like there is human enemies and there's also like cyborg enemies as well, which is pretty interesting, which I wasn't expecting to happen before I played it. I talked
Hmm.
about it on Tangerine, but the reason I never finished it was because I was streaming it to a friend, and then he was never on. I was like, I'm just only gonna play this one. I can stream it to my friend, and then my friend was never on. So I was like, oh, I just have Alien Isolation like halfway played, and I never finished it. So yeah, I played about 3 hours. So
Still not finished.
no, I think what I'm probably gonna do is when I'm finished. At the moment, I just finished Bioshock Infinite teaser.
Oh
For
right.
Tangerine,
Okay.
I've finished Bioshock Infinite and the Burial at CDLC. So I I need to get. I've been stalling with Tony and I keep playing it. The problem is every time we can record Tangerine, I want to play another game and then to
Yeah.
talk about Tangerine.
That's fair.
Um, I was literally struggling to sleep last night because I was thinking about Bioshock Infinite. I have so much Bioshock knowledge in my brain now from playing all of the Bioshock games like in a row that I'm just like I have to talk about Bioshock. I have the definitive list of ranking every Bioshock game now based on
Right.
how much I enjoyed it.
We have the
Um,
list, guys.
but yeah, I think so. At the moment, I was going by. I did Halloween games. Next Fest always takes up a lot of my gaming time, and then um, I think most of the games I'm going to be playing now are going to be focused on playing out the games from 2021 that I have in order to evaluate them for the Game of the Year awards on the podcast. I want to make sure I
Okay.
play every 2021 game I got before the end of the
Right.
year, or as much as I can, because
Yeah,
there's
that's
still a
fair.
couple I haven't played yet, which I got. But yeah, I'm gonna play. I'm going to play Alien Isolation again at some point. And Tony, I may even install the Mother VR mod and try it in VR to be extra
Oh right.
terrifying.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, yeah.
My only problem with Mother VR was the reason I didn't want to play Mother VR was because it was controller movement. So
Right.
you would play with like an Xbox controller and you just look around. Like I really wanted like a native teleportation, like room
Yeah.
scale sort of thing. But maybe I'll just try it with a controller and see if I can play it without being motion sick.
It's definitely less immersive with the controller, right?
Yeah. But next up we have this is another head scratcher. So I don't know if you remember, but A Hat in Time has what's called a creator program where they allow modders to turn their mods into DLC officially for the game, and then they sell it on Steam as DLC. So Gears for Breakfast has come out with a brand new DLC for Hat in Time, and as soon as I saw this, I was like, yes, more DLC for Hat in Time. That sounds fucking cool. It's a multiplayer DLC, and it's not like co-op, like the Nico Party or whatever it's called. It's like player versus player DLC.
Right.
So already I'm like, I really wonder. Okay, the player base when this DLC drops will probably be okay, but I'm wondering like, what's the player base for this DLC gonna be like in a year? Like, immediately I'm like, you're already locking the mode behind a DLC to a game, and then
Yeah.
only the people who have the DLC are going to be playing this multiplayer game. Like, I don't know. It's interesting because it's something I've never seen in A Hat in Time, but then again, I'm like, I'm not sure who this is for. It's not something I'm particularly interested in. Like,
No, I'm not interested in it
I
either.
got the multiplayer DLC for Hat in Time. I thought Seal the Deal was great, the single player one that came out. The
Yeah.
Nico Party one, I haven't played it yet because I got it later after I finished playing Hat in Time. But that was the one that had a co-op, and although I wasn't interested in the co-op, I was like, oh, it's another level to play that you can just play in single player, which is why I got it.
Yeah, yeah.
This one, I'm sort of like a bit of a head scratcher, like PvP Hat in Time. I mean, it has fantastic movement. That's a big positive for it, but yeah, I'm just not really sure about this. I'm just gonna wait until this comes out, and then I'll see what people say. I mean, when does it come out? November 27th. So it comes out
Close.
in 5 days. So, I'll be interested to see if any of the big streamers play this, or like anyone that I watch on Twitch, because this is something that I would probably like. It'd be interesting to see a bunch of people, like streamers, play this and then see what it's like. But obviously, Hat in Time's like a big indie hit, but I feel like
Yeah, it's a known name, right?
it's a known name, but I feel like it may be
Are
hard.
people watching for DLC drops though?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm
So
worried.
I don't think they are.
I'm worried about this because I fucking love A Hat in Time. It's one of my favorite platforms of all time. And I'm worried this isn't going to do very well. And I like the idea of the creator program. I just think because
you can't choose the multiplayer one, but
I talked about A Hat in Time when I played it, and I said the workshop for Hat in Time. There's super fucking amazing custom maps. Why couldn't we turn one of those into a single player DLC? Like,
yeah.
Again, I don't want to hate on it until I've like at least seen like a review or seen more about it, but I'm just not sure who this is for.
Yes, to get your own Hat in Time lobby.
Yeah. Gonna have to. But we'll have to wait to see about that one. I guess cautiously optimistic, but still skeptical, I would say.
Yeah. You hope it's good.
So that's going to end the random trailers. We had the Thunderful World Showcase. So this is basically a bunch of indie trailers, and I picked out the interesting ones. One of the big ones was SteamWorld Headhunter. Tony, there's a new SteamWorld game, and it's a completely different genre to every single other SteamWorld game.
What? That's unbelievable.
I think SteamWorld Dig is the only sequel. Like, SteamWorld Dig 2 is the only other SteamWorld game that exists in the same genre as another SteamWorld game. It's just insane to me that
which one is this one then?
So this is going to be a third-person co-op action adventure, from my understanding.
Right. Okay.
We got a teaser trailer here, so we don't actually have gameplay. But I have full faith in the SteamWorld guys because they keep knocking it out of the park every time. Just to more details. So let me read out the genres they've had so far, Tony. We've had a Metroidvania in SteamWorld Dig, turn-based tactics in SteamWorld Heist, a deck builder in Hand of Gilgamesh, and they started out as, I don't know if you know this, but before SteamWorld Dig, they started out as a tower defense game on the DS. I've got an image of it here. The first ever Steam world game was actually a DS tower defense game.
Right. Okay.
And Image and Form Games really just wants to make something new every time they make a Steam World
They've
game.
got a universe. They just don't. They want different
Yeah.
genres.
It's the Steam World Cinematic Universe, and we're just living in
Yeah.
it. Next up, we have Swordship. So it's a shoot 'em up without shooting. I think is
Okay.
the best way I've seen it described. So if you know, like, is it like Galaga or whatever it's called, where you have like a ship and you go left and forth and you shoot bullets. Basically, it's that formula of moving around and shooting really fast, but basically there's no shooting. You're like dodging all of the projectiles that are coming in, and you're like a sort of a speedboat sort of thing.
Okay. Interesting.
I would say like a shoot 'em up's not really a genre I play, but the movement in this game just looks really fun.
It looks more like it's got more rhythmic movement.
Yeah, I
I
thought
don't know
that.
if that's just because they put it to music, but
Yeah, I thought that looked really interesting. So that was another indie
yeah.
one to check on. Toges. I don't know how you pronounce it. Togges. It looks like a relaxing collectathon 3D platformer with Roombas, and that's all I needed to know to put it on here. It reminds me of like Super Mario Odyssey, where you're just
Right. Yeah.
when you have, I think it's like the caterpillar power up or whatever it is, and you're going around like a world collecting moons. I mean, it's given me big like 3D Mario game sort of vibes. And then
Wait. So what do you? I don't understand. I don't understand the mechanics of that.
yeah,
Why?
I don't understand. Like, sometimes you're putting down boxes and then sometimes you're sucking them up.
Yeah. I guess that has gameplay.
It looks really weird, but I'm down for it. It looks really fun. I like relaxing 3D
Yeah.
collectathons, so I'm down to play that. That looks cool. And then
That's
finally, we have a
interesting.
game called Hell Pie, the complete opposite of a relaxing collectathon, a Hell 3D collectathon.
In hell.
I love that the way the devil jumps in this platformer is he has a enslaved angel on a chain that he's forcing to fly to help
That
him
is cool.
glide.
I like double jumping.
Yeah. And also, another thing I love about this trailer is it has like demonic subliminal messaging in the trailer to buy and wishlist the game, which I find hilarious. I'm just like, yeah, that is exactly like you'll see like flashing images of like a bunch of text, and I froze it, and it was just like buy wishlist the game, buy wishlist the game, and I was like, okay, that's pretty funny, but it looks really fun. It looks really fun. So I'm really
Yeah, it looks
excited
good.
to.
Oh my god, fish with legs.
It's giving me Hat in Time vibes. It's giving me Boss Baby vibes. This one.
Boss baby vibes. No.
But yeah, if it's anything like the quality of the other indie 3D platformer I was talking about earlier, then it's definitely going to be a interesting game. So definitely check out those indie hits. And then we have Joe's weird VR game of the week. I think I have more VR news, but I was just like, oh, I'll talk about my weird VR. So we have Against Pistol Whip, which is it's called Cybrid VR. So this is the one I picked out. Basically, Cybrid VR looks like a mixture of the game Against and Pistol Whip. I feel like when I played Against in the Steam Demo Festival, I hadn't played Pistol Whip, and I was like, this is like Beat Saber with guns. And then I played Pistol Whip, and I was like, oh, okay, it's like Pistol Whip. It's sort of like mixing them all together where you have like the slashing, the guns.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing Against does as well, where it mixes the punching, the shooting. I would say like Against has like more sort of movement where you go like from side to side, whereas Beat Saber is like more coming
like
towards
you
you.
move like your floor space.
Against still is coming towards you, but you feel like you're moving around, like you go up and down, you go left and right more. It's coming out November 19th. Oh wait, it's coming out November 19th. That's already out. Let's read the store page live on the podcast. Let's see. Check the reviews. If you wish Pistol Whip had guns and swords, or that Beat Saber had guns and swords, this is great music and is very challenging, and the vertical movement is very cool. Windows Mixed Reality support is nice to have. So it's got one positive, one negative saying frequent loading times between game menu and gameplay, wrong wrist angle for Oculus Quest Link. It seems pretty positive from what I can see. So yeah, check out that
There's not too many reviews, is there?
Well, it came out 3 days ago, and it's a VR game.
Yeah, and just no, that's kind of what I'm saying. There's not too many people reviewing VR games
Except
on
me.
Steam, anyway.
I'm still here, Tony.
Well, where's your review then?
I haven't played it yet. It came out 3 days ago.
Well,
I'm gonna be talking.
3 days.
I'm gonna be talking about a VR game on Tangerine. We just haven't done the Tangerine yet.
Okay, fair enough. I'll let you off.
Well, speaking of Against got a brand new release window trailer.
Okay.
It looks completely fucking different again to what I saw from playing the demo in Steam Next Fest. It was like completely black and white noir, but now it's gone back to the trailer where it looks more like 3D colored models, which is how it looked in the trailer. They changed it for the demo, and then they've gone back to this style. I'm like, okay, I like the weird noir stuff, but it looks like they've kind of gone completely crazy where you've got like demonic stuff. There's like flying ships in the sky, Tommy guns. Like, it looks really cool. I'm liking the art direction they've decided to go with. Whether they'll stick with this and it'll completely change for the next trailer or actual game, we'll have to see. But it definitely looks like they've added a lot more detail to the game itself. So I like the bosses were some of my favorite parts of. Well, the boss was my favorite part of the demo. So seeing more bosses is going to be really cool to fight in Rhythmic VR. So
yeah, it still looks really cool.
okay.
I mean, I guess there is some sort of story, right? So I guess I'm interested in that.
52 minutes in the podcast. Let's move on to quick news. Guys, you know I can't not talk about a Sonic collab because every Sonic collab that exists just seems like a meme shitpost that was turned into reality. So we have a brand new one. Monster Hunter Rise is getting the Sonic the Hedgehog collab.
What? Why? Why?
Every time it looks like
as an animal.
You get like a Sonic costume, and then you get like an actual Sonic character to fight with you, and there's like a Tails outfit for your mount.
What?
I don't know. It looks like a fan made mod, but it's actual official thing in the game.
What? This is a meme.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna say.
But I feel like every time I see a Sonic collab with a game, it's like, this is a meme. And it's like, no, this is real. And it's like, oh god. I feel like, what the fuck is a Sonic?
Yeah, I asked myself that a lot recently. Like, where's the last what the fuck is a Sonic? Is Sonic Generation the last normal Sonic game? Or is there another one after that?
What do you mean? Define normal Sonic game.
One that doesn't make you go, what the fuck is a Sonic?
Sonic Mania?
Okay, Sonic Mania. Okay. Anything after that?
No. Sonic Forces was like playing full into the make your own Sonic character fantasy that apparently Sonic fans have. Sonic Team Racing was fine. It was like a normal Sonic game.
Which was 2017.
Sonic Team Racing. It was 2020.
Yeah, that was more normal. You're right. That is more normal.
Sonic Team Racing was just like straight up Sonic Racing. There was nothing. I think that was the problem with Sonic Team Racing was it just wasn't very interesting. It was just.
But you weren't saying what the fuck is a Sonic. That is true. Okay. So that's 2019. So it's been 2 years since.
Yeah.
We've not had to say what the fuck is a Sonic.
Okay. Sega has done like a new cloud deal with Microsoft, but they said they won't lead to an Xbox exclusive. So if you're worried about Microsoft and Sega getting into this new cloud deal, it's not going to lead to all Sega games being Microsoft exclusive, which is good for the PlayStation boys.
It's not one of those epic deals where it just suddenly becomes exclusives.
But Sega confirmed it was negotiating a deal with Microsoft to use Azure to host, deploy, and even develop its most ambitious games. Sega wants to create a whole new type of game called super games, which are huge, sprawling live service titles similar to Phantasy Star Online.
So MMOs.
Or like it says like live service games, so maybe even like Marvel Avengers or Warframe.
Yeah,
Or
but if there's lots of people on one map,
like
that's not
like
like an MMO.
like imagine Marvel Avengers, but it's Sonic All Star.
I'd rather think it was Guardians of the Galaxy, but it
Like
was All Star Transformers.
imagine it's like a fighting game. You're going around um the Emerald Isles, but you're playing as like Sonic, and then like the guy from Yakuza, or
Oh right, I see. Okay.
like
What's Robotnik doing though? Is he the main?
oh
He's the main bad guy.
he's fucking doing
Or
some
is he like,
yeah,
is he like a
he's up to his tricks, you
or is
know.
he a fallen bad guy? He's like has like a reluctant hero. That's what I'm looking for. Is he a reluctant hero? That's
It's
what I want.
Robotnik's gonna be in the game, but it's not gonna be the Robotnik we know. It's gonna be modeled on Jim Carrey's likeness.
Oh, okay.
From the Sonic movie. It's gonna be a tie-in with the Sonic movie 3.
It's gonna actually be the son of the
It's gonna,
Robotnik that
as
we
we
know.
know, the Sonic movie 2 is already confirmed. This one's gonna come a bit later. It's gonna be it's gonna become. They want to have multiple super games in the market by 2030, and that's the year that the Sonic movie 3 will come out. So
yeah, it's the whole Sonic universe.
yeah.
We've already got it sorted. We already got the details.
The Baba Is You level editor update is out now.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's really powerful because you can create whatever the fuck you want. Of course, someone's already made Doom on it. So if you want to play Doom, you can now play Doom inside Baba Is You.
How have they made Doom?
I have no idea how it's
How
working.
have they done this?
Yes, it's magic, isn't it? Every time I'm like, how do they keep doing this? It's bloody magic. I don't know.
This reminds me of Wolfenstein, but yeah.
But speaking of porting Doom to everything, somebody has ported the original Doom to a Bluetooth USB adapter.
Okay.
So Doom literally can run on anything. Yeah. 90% of the original resolution only using 256 kilobytes of RAM. You'd love to see it.
Nice.
Next up we have they've Halo Infinite multiplayer came out recently. I've been playing it. Halo Infinite multiplayer free to play, really really fucking fun. Really 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 good. I think
better than Battlefield and COD apparently.
I haven't played those, but it works. So
yeah,
that's a big positive. I was skeptical about Halo Infinite sort of because it kept getting delayed, and I think it was delayed more so because of the way the game looked, and then also probably the technical issues of getting it running on the Xbox, like the high-end software, and then the PC as well. There's some like rough edges in Halo multiplayer free-to-play right now. It's been out like a week or so now. The rough edges are like the menu UI is not quite up to snuff. The battle pass is really bad. But that's all like stuff outside the actual game. The actual game itself, movement is fucking fantastic. It's like movement was always great in Halo. Like it felt amazing to move in Halo. And
yeah, you more mobile of the.
But the thing is, like going back to the Master Chief Collection, in comparison to movement now, it felt a bit clunky because you didn't have stuff like wall grabbing or dashing and stuff like that. Halo Infinite is like a modern day Halo game. Like it feels closer to, like, in terms of movement, it feels closer to like Apex than it does like an old Halo game. Like you have stuff like wall grabbing, you have like a grappling hook. Like gameplay wise, Halo Infinite multiplayer is really fucking cool.
From what I was, because I watched you stream a little bit, and like from what I could see, like it still like looked like a Halo game, but just like better movement, and like it was very. I was having more fun watching this Halo than like any other Halo game. It looked really good.
Basically, if you don't know, what they're doing is it releases in 2 weeks, I think, the full game.
Right.
They've released the multiplayer early as like a beta season, so I think it's still technically in beta. And
Right.
then as
Okay.
soon as it comes out, they're doing like updates to improve the multiplayer. But the multiplayer is going to stay free to play forever. It feels weird to like a game of this quality being free to play. Like famously, Halo has been like you buy Halo and you play the multiplayer, but it's like with the ways like COD's gone, like COD has like Warzone free to play. Like it's the way the
Yeah.
industry's moving now. It has been for a long time, so it's
I,
weird to
I
see
I'm
that.
I'm kind of happy that like we're able to have because I can't just hear like oh everything becomes like a free to play like and everything the same
Mm.
kind of like turns to shit like it's nice to have free to plays that aren't shit but it's like nice to have games that can be both free to play and like have a story based campaign you buy.
Well, I mean, if you make a game with fantastic movement that has fantastic guns and
Yep.
stuff like that, I'm gonna play it. I have like 500. I probably have like 500, 600 hours in Apex just because I love the movement and the way the game feels, and I'm getting those same vibes from Halo Infinite. So really cool to see. The campaign, basically, so on December in 2 weeks, the single player campaign is going to release. So you'll have, if you buy the game, you'll have the campaign's single player. That's what you're buying right now. But they won't come with Forge mode, which is the ability to create custom maps and content. And the co-op multiplayer won't be available at launch either, which is the only reason I would be buying Halo Infinite's campaign. Um,
Yeah.
so obviously, I'm going to hold off until because I have, me and my friends, especially Halo Andy, we would be playing
Yeah.
through the co-op campaign for Halo Infinite um, together because we've played through the entire Master Chief Collection together,
Will
and I
Halo
really loved
Andy
it.
play the single player by himself?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's any
Okay.
reason to
Okay.
because if
Okay.
he really wants to play Infinite, we can just play the multiplayer.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair.
but they've said because we knew it was coming later in 2022. But they've now put out a statement saying the co-op campaign and Forge mode. I don't know if Forge mode is bundled in with it, but at least the co-op campaign will not come until May 2022 at the earliest.
Right. Okay.
So that's going to be at
That's quite
least
a while.
6 months after the
Yeah, 6 months.
launch
Yes,
of
damn.
Halo Infinite. So that's like a sort of a shocker.
Wait, so is that after Forge then?
I know Forge is being delayed. I know because it says the co-op won't release till then. Maybe Forge, they might try and get it out a bit earlier.
It just seems crazy to me. Like it takes so long for co-op.
Forge, meanwhile, wasn't supposed to hit Halo Infinite until Season 3 at the earliest, or what would have been about 6 months after launch. They told 343 was still targeting campaign co-op for Season 2, but given Season 2 won't go live until May at the earliest, campaign co-op won't go live until either. So Forge mode, maybe even later than
Right.
May.
Okay. Okay. That makes more sense. Like I feel like co-op should be prioritized
Yeah,
before
I
Forge.
agree to agree. I mean, co-op wasn't prioritized in Halo 4 because you get to watch someone else play the game. So
Yeah, that's
hopefully
fair.
they fix stuff like that. I'll talk about Halo Infinite on Tangerine because I have more to say
Yeah.
about it.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
just a teaser in case I forget to record a Tangerine. Because there's also they've announced there's going to be updates to the challenge and boosts and is live for Halo Infinite multiplayer now. So basically you couldn't level up at like I was level 0 for a really long time despite like playing a lot of Halo Infinite. And basically the way it works was you only got XP by completing specific daily challenges. You didn't get any XP for playing the game, whereas that was completely different in every Halo game. You played the game, you got XP, and that helped you level up to unlock new armor
Isn't
cosmetics.
isn't that most games?
Yeah, most games you
You.
get XP for playing. That's how it
Yeah.
works. But people were like, "Hey, I'm playing the game like crazy, but I'm not completing these weird challenges. I'm not getting any XP. What's going on? I'm like level 3 and I've played like 10 hours or whatever." It's like, oh, so what they've done, they've gone, okay, we're going to put a play one game daily challenge that's worth 50 XP each. And the challenge deck is also being updated to better serve players of all skill levels, so you won't get impossible challenges if you're like a new player. Additionally, XP boosts will now last for 1 hour rather than 30 minutes, and the in-game tooltip will continue to show 30 minutes as they expected duration, but the boost time will start from 60 minutes once activated. As a result of the changes, all progress on active daily and weekly challenges will need to be reset. However, all players will sign in before November 23rd to 30th will receive this week's ultimate reward, the Sigil Mark VII Visor. I don't know. I don't care about battle passes. I feel like
that's my one concern with free-to-plays like this.
One of the best things I ever read was someone talking about Apex Legends, and I think they hit the nail on the head when they said, I love Apex Legends, it's an amazing game, and I haven't spent a penny on it because their cosmetics are so fucking ugly I never want to buy them, which is great because it means I can just keep playing the game for free and I never have to spend any money on it. And I think,
imagine if it was just the old games where you paid for the multiplayer experience and then you unlock stuff by playing the game.
It's so risky these days. The last big one I can think of is like that was still popular as Fall Guys, actually. Because I've played some like buy the game, play the multiplayer, and it's been tough. Like, let me check, because Knockout City was one I loved this year, but I'm wondering how the player numbers are still doing, considering it is also on Xbox Game Pass, and Origin Access is Game Pass as well. So hopefully the numbers aren't too bad. We'll see how many people are still playing it on Steam. Yeah, there's not as many people playing it these days on Steam, at least.
It's kind of expected. It's like, because like if everything's becoming a live service, there's only like so much you can play at once, right?
Well, then it released and it was like 3,000 players average. And it was like 1,000 players, 400, 200. And now it's down to about 150 average players. So you may struggle to get a game if you're playing like the ranked game modes. We'll have to see. Like, that's not great. I do love that game, by the way, Knockout City. It's definitely going to be one I'm going to talk about from one of my multiplayer games of the year. But it's just, I always worry about. This is what the point I was trying to get across was. I love it when paid games come out that actually have good progression system. Knockout City is another game with terrible cosmetics, by the way.
Well, I don't. Okay, well, I don't mind like an in-between model where like you have no cosmetics in the free-to-play version, then you buy it to then get be able to unlock cosmetics.
That's how Knockout City works, where you can unlock the cosmetics for free, but you can also buy them if you want to.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, but yeah, I think
I'd still rather just like bundled into one game price, not like lots of time transactions that are ridiculously expensive.
If streamers don't immediately pick up your game and keep that momentum going, it's so risky these days to not be free to play that I feel like it's almost a given for a lot of these games now. I'm still on quick news, I think, and we are an hour and 8 minutes in. Let's keep going. The studio behind Paradise Killer, the really, really popular indie hit, which basically you play a detective, and I know nothing about it because I heard it's sort of similar to a game like Outer Wilds, where the less you know about it, the better, is collaborating with Ikumi Nakamura, who made Akami and The Evil Within, which are some really interesting games on an upcoming product. So that sounds like it could be a really, really interesting.
What the hula hoops in a Starbucks? What the fuck is this?
Good shit. That's good shit right there.
Who said what? Okay. Interesting.
Well, if you're working with someone from, Japan, the first thing you want to go is, here's some hula hoops. This is the food of our culture. So yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Risk of Rain 2 Survivors the Void store page is up. I did not know Risk of Rain 2 is getting an expansion, but apparently it is. That's pretty interesting to see. It's going to be like a DLC, sort of expansion level DLC for Risk of Rain 2, so I'll be more interested to see like what comes of that. Like Risk of Rain 2 and 1.0 this year, I think it was this year, where the game got an official ending. They've done a ton of content for it. I still wonder if there's still a Stadia exclusive level for Risk of Rain 2, because I remember that being a thing.
Well, Stadia's really big, so
Yeah.
you better believe it.
But yeah, this looks interesting, and I'd be interested once we find out more about Survivors of the Void. So I'll check back on that. The Microsoft Store is finally becoming more Steam-like for games. Tony, did you know the Microsoft Store?
I've not used the Microsoft Store.
I have.
I'll tell you that right now. Okay.
Because I have used Xbox Game Pass for PC, and if you use Xbox Game Pass for PC, you have to download the games from the Microsoft Store. The Microsoft Store fucking sucks. The UI is garbage. It has weird download caps that are terrible to use.
It's a quick side note. I have noticed very recently, actually, in the last couple of months, Microsoft download stuff has really gone to shit. It's I use OneDrive a lot, and I've noticed they've massively capped the max transfer rate now. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
But one of the big things was when you downloaded I downloaded Sea of Thieves from the Microsoft Store, right? When I play on Games Pass, I couldn't choose where it downloaded, and I think it doesn't delete it from your system either when you uninstall it.
What?
Which is yeah. So when you used to download a game from the Microsoft Store, it would put it into a folder that the Microsoft Store chose, and it would have restricted access. You could not get into the file structure of the file of the games at all. It's completely locked down. Which people were like, Microsoft acquired Bethesda, and then they released Fallout and Skyrim on the Games Pass, and people were like, great, I can mod it. And it was like, nope, you download a game from the Windows Store, you can't touch any of those files.
Paid mods, though, it's fine.
But now they've made it so, which is a huge improvement, you can now put the download in any folder of your choice, and you now have unrestricted access to all the files of the game you actually download. So actually mod the games.
It sounds like it's a good thing that Microsoft's working with the team behind the people who made Windows to be able to do that, Yeah. It's really good they did that.
It will let Windows users move games free to any other folder or drive of their choice. I think this is also coming with what else will they do? The x86 games. You don't have to be WUP was another big change they were making as well, which was going to be really big for the Microsoft Store. Sources familiar with Microsoft plans tell The Verge that the changes are part of an Xbox app update for Windows that is currently being tested internally. So we'll have to wait until this is fully released. But these changes are really cool, and I really want to see them. Talking of Microsoft Studios, Hellblade: Sesuna's Sacrifice Enhanced for PC is now out now. So you can now
Wait, is this free or is this you pay for? Oh, okay.
This is free if you own Hellblade. So if you
you don't have to pay for the Ultimate Edition.
So you can now play Hellblade with enriched visuals, DirectX ray tracing, NVIDIA DLSS, and AMD FSR. So if you want to play
the whole lot.
Any of those things, then you can now. I've completely blind on Hellblade: Sesuna's Sacrifice. I know nothing about it, and I really want to play
That's probably for the best. Yeah.
And my number one thing is, I think this ray tracing and DLSS stuff is really cool. But from what I know about the game, is I feel like there's a VR version of it, and I'm really tempted to have my first time playing this be the VR version, because I feel like it's gonna really fuck with me, and I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to agree with you on that one. I think you probably should play that.
But that was the dilemma, was these updates, from what I can tell, did not come to the VR version.
Which is too intensive, I guess.
Well, if they added DLSS and FSR, it should be
okay. And that's what I mean. I don't know. That's weird, isn't it? Maybe it's
I'll
just maybe
check
it's
the
harder to
store
implement.
page and see if there's an update, because I don't have it downloaded. I'll check the VR editions page and see if there is an update.
Okay.
How do I check the... Is it Community Hub? You go to updates. When did this come out? I don't think so. No, it doesn't seem so. Yeah, it seems like they haven't done the updates for the VR version from what I can see. So it seems like if you want to play with like DLSS and the ray tracing, you're gonna have to play
Yeah.
on the pancake version, as people are calling it on the community hub, which I always find hilarious that VR people are such big snobs when it comes to the non-VR versions of games.
Yeah, they wouldn't want to play on a pancakes monitor. Come on.
Or unless you're playing with pancake lenses, which I find funny that there's a thing that people want in VR, which is the refraction of light through many lenses, in order to put the lenses closer to your face. All
Yeah.
Capcom games still using Games for Windows Live have been temporarily pulled from sale. This includes Lost Planet 2, Resident Evil, Operation Raccoon City, Street Fighter 4, and Street Fighter X Tekken. So seems like we may be getting Games for Windows Live removed from these games, and then they'll go back up.
Oh, thank
Fingers
God.
crossed. It's always a
Yeah,
great day when
hopefully.
you see Games for Windows Live removed from a service. I was thinking about it today, actually, when I was out on my bike. I was thinking about this news, and I was thinking about, like... Well, I was thinking about Bioshock, because I've been thinking about Bioshock a lot, because I've been playing it a lot. And
Yeah.
I was thinking about... Because I never had the Steam versions of Bioshock 1 and 2, because I owned the disc versions, and the disc versions came with Games for Windows Live.
Oh God. Okay.
And I remember I was like... I know a lot of people hate Games for Windows Live, but back in the day, if you had Games for Windows Live, you could link it to your Xbox account, and this was the only feature I can think of that was actually useful for having Games for Windows Live, which at the time was super useful for me. Games for Windows Live had this feature where I could be playing on my PC, playing Bioshock 1 or 2, and I could be having a voice conversation with someone on an Xbox 360. At the time, this was actually super useful. You got to remember, this is like pre-Discord, Skype, like
Yeah.
any other app being allowed
Xbox
on an
Game
Xbox
Bar.
360, right?
Yeah.
So like that at the time was like revolutionary. I was like, oh, my friend's playing GTA on the Xbox 360, and I'm playing Bioshock 2, and I can have a conversation with him on my PC. This is cool, and also I don't have to use those shitty mics you plug into the Xbox 360 controller. I can actually have a normal mic where people can hear what I'm saying. This is revolutionary.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I'm just saying, like, could you not just like? But yeah, I guess you can't just plug a mic directly into the console and have it work, right? Because they have like proprietary ports and things.
I think for me it was more so the fact that I was on a PC talking to someone on an Xbox.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, it's pretty cool that you can talk to people doing other things using a platform. Maybe if in the future we invented something like this would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just that what I did was like I'd like play like Minecraft on my PC and like play I just like have a PlayStation in the background because I don't need to see it, like just like listening to the voice chat. So
right.
I don't know. I probably that's still.
Okay,
I guess it's useful that you're using your microphone, but
Star Citizen developer plans 1,000-person Manchester mega studio.
Why Manchester?
Well, Chris Robert Studios, or whatever the hell it's called. Was it Chris? CIG.
Yes, yeah. What is that? I can't remember what that stands for anymore.
But anyway, it's a 5-year plan where it will see 700 people fill the building by 2023. So before further growth to an eye-opening team size of 1,000 by 2026.
Let's hope that Star Citizen works well for them, right?
Well, guess what, Tony? Star Citizen just reached $400 million funded. No, sorry, $403 million funded.
It's still going.
It's still... People are still giving Chris Roberts money. Okay. Yeah. This used to be called the Peter Molyneux podcast for the ultimate scammer in the business, but I think we've got a new king of snake oil.
I'm looking
Chris
forward
Roberts
to the NFT
himself.
ships. NFT ships, anyone?
The NFT ships, but the non-fungible token doesn't exist yet as concept of an NFT ship. Yes, that would be the ultimate ploy. Yes, a little bit of snake oil. And then finally to round out quick news, guys, we have NVIDIA GeForce Now is capping FPS for priority users. Previously, if you were so you could use the streaming service NVIDIA GeForce Now for free, and the limitations were you could only play for like an hour, you were limited to like 1080p, you wouldn't get like as high FPS, but you could pay for the subscription service, and then you had like a premium feature where you would be guaranteed like a 3080, you would be guaranteed 60 FPS, you would be guaranteed a certain resolution, you'd be unlimited time on the games, right? Now, so someone was playing Guardians of the Galaxy on GeForce Now, and they realized that it was limited to a hard 50 frames per second via the in-game menu. So a Reddit user asked NVIDIA what was going on, and after escalating to level 2 customer support, they received a confirmation from NVIDIA that this limit in frame rate is intentional, and in fact is quite common amongst quite a few AAA games on the service. In what NVIDIA calls the optimal playable settings, or the OPS, it's essentially a limit on FPS according to NVIDIA's new support page, explaining the deliberate measures in order to reduce the FPS on certain titles. Remember, the 2 paid tiers of GeForce Now, Priority and RTX 3080, should have options to change this for most games. However, a fair few new games are listed in this documented have been limited for Priority tier users due to performance issues.
Wouldn't that be weird for frame times though, having it 50 like on a normal 60 hertz monitor or even like a 120 hertz monitor?
Well, you also have to keep in account there's also like the delay of streaming the game to your computer as well.
I'm just thinking like in terms of like the actual like frames you're seeing is going to be like weird to even display like latency that I feel like would be like equal for every frame, right?
Yeah, so the priority tier on GeForce Now will give you a premium rig with RTX on that will deliver 1080p 60 FPS for all those subscribed. All of the games listed are still above 45 FPS, with most sitting at 50. But people have seen games like Dying Light running at 50 FPS, while Outriders can still run a little bit higher at 55 FPS.
So this is kind of just the problem I have with like games you do own on a PC you don't own.
Like people went in with the idea they'd be guaranteed like 60 FPS on all the 1080p on all the games they stream. Like it's 1080p 60 FPS,
and like just like Darth Vader, they keep changing the
with an I've altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it further.
Yeah,
it's 1080p 60 FPS. Like I feel like this is on an RTX system. This should not be a problem.
No,
it seems like no streaming service is safe anymore. Like.
But I guess that if they're using, I guess they're not actually using like dedicated like single graphics.
I assume it's like a
virtualization.
Server.
Yeah, like one of those big ones that Jensen had in his oven.
The old Jensen oven GPUs. Yes, you love to see it. I don't know. Okay, let's move on.
It's just odd. Like, I swear, like at one point, like the whole thing about like streaming, like game streaming was like, it'll always be up to date with like the most recent hardware. But I feel like that's just not true.
We're going to move on to Tech Blunders that is solely dedicated to GTA Remastered Trilogy. We're getting to a point in this year where we might actually have to skip the best game of the year and just go for the most failed launch of the year.
I'm happy to discuss that, but I kind of like talking about bad news, so I'm kind of biased on that.
So, the ports of... the entire time I was talking to Tony, and I was saying to him, we have a 40-second trailer of the GTA trilogy. Reviewers are embargoed and not allowed to talk about it, and the game comes out tomorrow. We have 3 GIFs that have been posted. There is no gameplay for this game. It comes out tomorrow. This is looking very sus.
Yeah.
The game comes out and it runs like shit. It is based on the iOS mobile versions. that comes
Isn't
with
it
the
probably by the
same
same
bugs.
who made the mobile version?
The Grove Street gang, who made the iOS versions, it comes with the same bugs as those. Always online
God.
Rockstar services required to play. The Rockstar services go down, which means no one can play GTA Remastered Trilogy. No one can play GTA Online either if they want to buy shark cards in GTA 5.
And he can't play the originals anymore. Well, you can't buy the originals anymore.
It's only available on the Rockstar store. They've released the game. Data miners discover that they've actually included a lot of the source code of the game, including like dev notes from the original game from years ago. They took out a lot of music because of licensing issues. They discovered that the music files are still inside the game, and you can turn them on very easily. They were accidentally coming on in some versions of games, like the console versions. The songs would accidentally play because they're still in the fucking files.
Right, okay.
They also realized that the game actually launched with the hot coffee sex minigame files still inside of the game as well, which was like a big controversy.
Come back to haunt them again.
GTA realizes this shit show they've got. I mean, the game, I don't know if you saw any gameplay. I saw people with like RTX 3080s streaming this game, struggling to get 60 FPS. With DLSS on the remastered
real game that
games.
I've seen is kind of like Digital Foundry's video on it. So,
well, yeah, I've watched Digital Foundry videos as well. Like the best way to play, like the console versions are struggling to hit 60 FPS on like their performance modes, like, with all the stuff turned down.
Their recommendation, like have a PS5 and play the PS4.
PS4. Play the PS4 Pro version on the PS5.
Like, why? You can't handle ports of an old game.
The recommendation, if you're playing it on console on the PS5, is to play the PS4 Pro version in performance mode. It's just insane how much of a botch. It's insane how much they botched the launch of this. Like, it's insane. So GTA goes, shit, this thing. They don't go, shit, this thing's completely broken, let's not release it. They go, shit, people have realised it's completely broken, even though we've embargoed all of the reviewers to not have their reviews out until days after the game's actually out. We need to pull this from sale because it's got copyrighted music in it we weren't supposed to put in there. So they pull the files. So Rockstar Games launcher is now back online. But GTA, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition was... Basically, you couldn't purchase the game anymore. It was completely removed from the PC storefront while they removed the files from the PC version because people were data mining it. It's a lot easier to get file access to the PC version. And then, after this whole shit show, it comes back and the Rockstar puts out a statement saying that they were not happy with the state of the Definitive Edition launching. And the one piece of good news they actually mentioned was they will put the original copies of the game back up for sale.
Thank God.
But only on the Rockstar Games Store. So you can't buy them on Steam again. You have to go...
Again, I'm glad I own it on Steam.
So... I feel like this is always the plan, was to release it from Steam so they could put it back on their own shitty service that is tied to a always online service DRM that's always going down, but... Oh man, it's a blunder for sure. I mean, I love the old GTA games. I spent so much time on like 3 and Vice City as a kid, and it was great seeing like the new Shadow. Like generally, there is a lot of cool stuff about the new Shadows.
Yeah, like there's like a new you want a new coat of paint on your old experiences.
I mean, we've seen great remasters. Like, I just think of everything THQ Nordic's made, and I'm like, you can remaster old games without completely screwing the pooch.
It just requires a lot of time and not like AI upscaling everything.
Did you see some of the AI upscalings where
like
they AI upscaled it and like the word gearbox was turned into bear box and stuff like that?
Like it's like instead of meat, it turned to heat or something. I
Yeah.
can't remember. So okay, it has no idea what it's meant to say.
Yeah, I think like there's some really egregious stuff. Like the rain effect is terrible in the remastered trilogy, where it's impossible to see anything. And at the moment, the only person who's actually fixing the GTA remastered trilogy is modders right now. Modders are fixing the game right now. They're doing like patches for the game, and you guess what Take-Two's doing? They're suing more fucking modders of their game who are fixing it. Take-Two has requested to remove GTA mods and a fan remake of GTA Advance, and in the most baffling move I've seen yet, one of the takedowns is literally a takedown request on a save game file. Not even a mod, a save game file.
Yeah,
I
just say how much I hate. Like Take-Two is fucking awful. Like they are so bad, and they have very trigger friendly lawyers on their hand. Like it's just so bad. I hate them so much.
Modders are literally fixing the game, preserving it, and they're getting their ass fucking sued in court because they are trying to preserve the game. Like this is just it's insane to me. Like
they're kind of doing a Nintendo. That's what I like to call that.
This is worse than Nintendo. This is way worse than Nintendo.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree that they've been in recent years as well. Like what they've been taking down, it's been more aggressive.
Nintendo's suing that Bowser guy because he's selling a subscription service to Switch games. Like,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough.
Like, if someone was like re-uploading GTA 5 onto a website and then trying to charge money to buy it cheaper than GTA 5 on a storefront, sure, sue that person. But making mods for a game that came out 20 years ago to try and help it survive, what the fuck are you doing?
Hell, even if it's like if they're reselling GTA 4, like fine to them, but they're making mods for GTA 4 or older GTA games. What's the problem? It does seem strange.
I don't know anymore.
Fuck Take-Two. That's what I'm gonna say.
Well, Tony, rumor, speculation. Apparently, GTA 4 remaster is reportedly in development. There's going to be a remaster of GTA 4. I can't wait. That comes out with the episodes from Liberty City. God help us all on that.
With all the same bugs.
If you don't know, GTA 4 is like probably in the worst state in terms of the engine when it comes to GTA games, I would say. So, God help us, that one's going to be hard.
No, we're going to keep all the same bugs, Joe. What's the problem?
I hope they release a 40-second trailer and 3 GIFs the day before it comes out, and then people
I can't wait.
And people go, it's going to be different this time, guys. Pre-purchase it. Get it on the Rockstar launcher.
What do you actually get for pre-purchasing the games these days?
A sticker.
Because before you used to get something,
NFT.
I don't see anyone advertising that anymore. Okay.
You get an NFT
that
says I'm a sucker.
Didn't someone do a data dump of like 20 terabytes of NFTs?
That's pretty hilarious. The funny thing I find about NFTs is like people like right-click save the images and they're like, haha, I have the NFT now, and they're like, stop! He's breaking my intellectual property rights, but he's taking my copyright. And NFT bros are like, we need to get the law involved. We need to get legal action against people stealing my intellectual property. And it's like, oh, you want to get the law involved? You want to get the law involved on these NFT purchases? Like, well, I want them to stop people stealing my NFTs, but don't tax the NFT. No, don't get tax involved. Actually, forget all about that, about getting the law involved in these NFTs. I would like to not have my illegal... I would like to not have gains taxes on my
I want to also say...
cryptocurrency.
If on the NFT rant right now, I want to say now, all the people that are having positive things with NFTs, I'm going to argue you did not need to use NFTs to do that. You're just doing weird ways of crowdfunding.
There's so much like cryptocurrency NFT shilling right now, and it's getting out of hand. Where you remember,
I'm glad
video game trends were like live games as a service, loot boxes, microtransactions. Yeah. Games are starting to be like NFTs are a way to make money out of consumers that are.
But I've seen But I've seen like genuine genuine artists and people that actually care get having success with NFTs, like they're actually making money like for that artwork for it. But I'm just like, you realize that this is just like a source of crowdfunding. Like you don't need to do this weird rights removal of yourself. Like you could literally just get commissions and things. Like there are other ways of making this money that aren't weird, and like I don't get NFTs. Like I've not heard a case where NFTs make sense. I've only ever seen negatives, and I have tried to look for positives.
I don't know, man. I feel like crypto started, like, the idea was, let's make a decentralized currency.
Yeah, I'm still down with the idea of cryptocurrency. It's just not in a state right now where it makes any sense to actually have currencies.
It just evolved into something I just don't recognize anymore.
All I'm going to say is now, again, crypto... Okay, if Bitcoin is like one, if not the first cryptocurrency, right? I can't remember like who actually came first. To me, it should have been like we're just gonna like test our mathematical and data science ideas here. We need your help to like test this scheme. It won't actually be real money. Then fair enough. Like then they're like they've then iterate like then like they have like critics coming in and go, it's like a huge amount of energy to do the same amount as like a PayPal or Visa or MasterCard. And it's like, okay, yeah, we need to do something about this. Oh, we're having problems with mining it. We're having problems with like going into the future. It's going to like cause huge problems. It's like, yeah, okay, fine. Let's have like a version 2. But no, I feel like they came out of the gate like, oh no, we're going to make this a real currency straight away. Well, and like I feel like it's just because of that, it's a massive scam.
I get all my cryptocurrency from Digital Foundry. That's all I need to say.
Right.
If you don't know, recently Digital Foundry was hacked and people started like trying to shill like cryptocurrency scams in their account until they got the... I don't know if you heard about this.
No.
Digital Foundry recently, one of the biggest like tech YouTubers out there under Eurogamer, they were basically hacked because I was watching the Digital Foundry like weekly roundup podcast thing, and they were saying like one of their Google accounts that's used for 2-factor authentication. Yeah. Somehow someone got access to that. They don't know how. But then they got access to that, which was a manager on the Digital Foundry YouTube. They have like a big fan base. They have like over 1 million subs. So people are like, "Hey, Digital Foundry, I think you've been hacked." And they were like, "What the fuck happened?" So they were like, they very quickly like got access back and completely shut off that access to the account. So they had access to the account back, and then YouTube terminated, like completely deactivated their account because they're like, you've been hacked, we're deactivating your account. But then they were like, we have access back to the account, but you've terminated it, so how do we get access back to your account? And they said it was harder to get access back to the account than it was to actually stop the malicious person who was hacking the account. And they had to go
I've heard many things with YouTube. It's like once they deactivate, it's actually harder to deal with the problem than it is if you did it yourself.
Because they were like, they went through YouTube, they went through Google, and it was like, you have so many services that will touch you. It's like, and the only reason they think they got through was because they had like so many people like liking and retweeting stuff on Twitter when they were tweeting at YouTube. So actually,
imagine to use another social media to get through to an organization.
They allowed them to put pressure on YouTube to actually put a human in front of the response to actually figure out how to solve this issue. But anyway, speaking of tech, we've now got NVIDIA DLSS 2.3 is coming
seamless.
A bunch of games, and also NVIDIA image scaling tech, which is really interesting as well. I can't wait for the Digital Foundry video on that if they're done selling cryptocurrency. That's my joke.
No, I'll buy cryptocurrencies from them.
And so NVIDIA image scaling is non-AI, non-temporal image scaling, basically complete with FSR. So it only works on NVIDIA 700 plus cards. I don't know if this is confirmed, but it might be agnostic to NVIDIA AMD. I'm not sure yet. I assume it's just for NVIDIA sort of thing. The SDK has been released for Linux as well, so we could have FSR and NVIDIA image scaling on the Steam Deck. I'm not sure if it's going to work on an AMD thing again, so I'll have to check that out. So, yeah, the way that basically NVIDIA... I think it's been getting annoyed that people keep comparing DLSS and FSR when they're completely different technologies, where
Yeah.
DLSS is like this big thing that's like indistinguishable from native and gives you like huge performance boosts, whereas FSR is more closer to NVIDIA image scaling, where you do get a loss, like a slight loss of, it's rendering a lower image quality, and then it's sort of upscaling that and then putting sharpening on top of it to make it less blurry when it's like ballooning up the image onto a larger screen.
It's tricks that you can actually like look for and actually notice. It's not filling it in with clever AI tricks.
So it seems like NVIDIA wants people to go, hey, compare image scaling to FSR, and then we still have the killer app of DLSS, which AMD cards don't have. I think that's what they're trying to do.
Because people are looking at the FSR and go, look how much more performance you get with that than DLSS. And it's like, you can't really.
They have some like. They have some. I haven't seen third-party benchmarks, but they've shown some benchmarks of native 4K, FSR 4K, NVIDIA image scaling 4K, and DLSS 4K, and it seems like the only ones I could actually read the text on the image from Necromunda Hired Gun was the native 4K and DLSS were the only ones where I was like, oh, okay, I can still read text with that turned on. So it does show you the difference and how the technology works there. It's going to be like less noticeable when it's used on like background stuff. But I would wait to see like third-party benchmarks, of course. I wouldn't just go on NVIDIA's word about it being better than FSR. But DLSS 2.3 looks really fucking cool. It's going to make smarter use of game motion vectors to improve object detail in motion. Particle reconstruction is going to improve ghosting, which was a big jump between 2.1 and 2.2. Was really good for reducing ghosting. And it's going to improve temporal stability as well, which is pretty cool. So games getting DLSS 2.3, Baldur's Gate 3, Bright Memory Infinite, Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, brilliant.
Crysis 2 Remastered, Crysis 3 Remastered, Deathloop, Doom Eternal, Farming Simulator 22, coming out November 22nd. Wait, that's today! Guys, exclusive news. Farming Simulator 22 is out.
It's on the Steam homepage. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't frequent the Steam homepage very often.
No, I don't. Not recently. Like I just accidentally went on it. I was like, wait,
guys,
Simulator?
Farming Simulator 2022 is out, guys, and it's huge. Let's read the reviews.
It's huge.
Ignore
Steam
the reviews.
#1.
Ignore the negative reviews from people who've played for half an hour and say it's the same as Farming Simulator 19 because they're either trolls or too stupid to take seriously. I am massively on the fence with purchasing this game as Farming Simulator 2019 has years of mods and content to back it up, but I took a gamble and I can honestly say I'm glad I did.
Wait, what are the actual new features?
Everything is improved in the game. And I mean everything is improved.
Just like Radix.
And better. And sounds a more massive improvement. Vehicle handling's better. UI is better. The previous Farm Simulator games have been thrown out the window and completely redone as dramatically better. The seasons are completely optional and you can be configured however you please. The return of collectibles, much more in-depth character creator, and the new AI system. Even in its first iteration, dramatic overhaul and so much better than previous title. The build and terrain system is completely different and much better than previous games with a more real-time strategy feel to them. It's like a new AI system. The new store layout is excellent. Okay, right, yeah. Farming Simulator's out, guys. There you go. There's a review I read from release day. GTA, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition! Let's go! It's getting DLSS 2.3.
It's going to need it.
Jurassic World Evolution 2, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which I've heard really good things about.
That's the good one, guys. That's the good one.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Shit, I call it its real name.
Gardeners. Yeah, you've done it wrong. Gardeners, guys.
Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Sword and Fairy 7, whatever the fuck that is. And
I can't misread that as Sword and Fairy 7. I'm glad that it says Fairy.
And I'm really looking forward to the Digital Foundry video where they go completely over everything DLSS 2.3 and NVIDIA image scaling, because that's going to be really interesting to watch. Steam next...
Hang on. I like what you put at the end of that sentence.
Yeah. Steam Next Fest February 2022 edition is coming back, so there will be a new Steam Next Fest 2023. I feel like I keep playing more games every Demo Festival. I feel like I played 30. I think I played 40 this time. Let's go for 50 demos for the next Steam
50.
Demo Fest. I'm gonna become the Joker, baby.
That's try and get a minute per game in the Tangerines.
I keep shit posting about the that really bad Joker performance. He's like, I'm the Joker, baby, and my friend was like, you need to next Halloween you need to dress up as that guy, being the Joker, and I was like, yes, I'm the Joker, baby.
Next Halloween.
Judge has dismissed the antitrust lawsuit filed by Wolfire Games against Valve. We talked about this previously. I was like, this lawsuit makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
Saying that Steam suppressed competition and charged excessive fees. There wasn't really anything there. Saying that Steam had a monopoly sort of thing. They just didn't have the evidence, and the judge was like, yeah, there's no evidence here, I'm going to throw this out. Valve will be waiving the $50,000 Havoc physics engine license cost for mods after reaching an agreement with Microsoft. So this is really big for Source mods because Havoc does physics, AI, cloth simulation, and is used in Source, which is big for releasing Source mods, because previously, when you released like a Source mod on Steam, you would have to pay the license fee for the Havoc's physics engine. It was a big thing specifically for TF2 as well, because that definitely used the Havoc physics engine.
Yeah.
But it seems like Microsoft purchased Havoc back in 2015, and it seems like this deal was made earlier this year, and it was under NDA, so we only learned about it recently. But if you want to make a Source mod and put it up on Steam, you will no longer have to pay $50,000 for the license fee to Havoc, which is like really big news. That's really cool to see that. Because Valve's kind of been radio silent on mods. You remember we talked about previously, TF2 modders got in contact with Valve after their TF2 mods were DMCA striked.
Oh, right, yeah.
And it was sort of positive because they're like, oh, we can talk to Valve and we can find a way to legally release these things, but it's been like, it was like they didn't hear anything back for a long time, but there may be some more communication now, so we'll have to see how that goes, but it's...
Fingers crossed.
It's Valve time. It's Valve time.
Valve. I think they live in hell, the time's just different.
VR news, Walkabout Mini Golf has a brand new DLC course. Yes, DLC, you heard that right. It will be purchasable. So, it's called The Gardens of Babylon. It's out now. I have it. I got it. I fucking love Walkabout Mini Golf. It's in my front runner for Best VR Game 2020 run. This golf game is not just a VR golf game. It is the best VR golf game, and it's one of the best VR games I've played this year. Okay. It's fantastic. It is relaxing. There is so much to do in it. You can hunt for lost balls. There's tons of cosmetics. Golfing feels great. Every course is handmade and specifically made to be played in VR and is fantastic. And this is part of their this is part of their larger DLC series, the Lost Cities that we talked about was coming out. This is the first one, the Gardens of Babylon from the Lost City thing, that will run throughout 2022. So it will showcase a number of legendary places throughout mythology. So they've started with the Gardens of Babylon, and it's releasing for a base price of $3. So I think it's like £2. Yeah, £2 if you're in the UK like me, which I have got it. And their plan is to basically, in order to keep funding the development of the game, funding the development of these DLC courses, they aim to release one every month sort of thing. So every month there will be like a brand new golf course, and you'll be able to pick it up for like £2.
That's cool.
Which is cool. Then basically, because people are saying in Discord, I had to join a Discord server to get a lot more of this info, because they put out like a short blog post and they said more info in our Discord server.
Oh, the bottom here. Yeah.
I hate this trend, where they
Yeah.
force you to join a Discord server to get more info on this because I really hate it. I like to be
But
in a
Joe, you
couple
would
of.
join the community.
No, I won't. I'll read the information and
Yeah.
leave. I'm in a very select few amount of Discord servers because I hate being in tons. I like being
Yeah,
able
I
to
don't like
manage
being
a
in
couple of
tons.
Discord servers, so I like having
I imagine
notifications
to
on.
join one for every game you like. That's so dumb.
Yeah. But anyway, um, basically they said every month they're going to release a new map. They're going to keep making these mythical lost cities, but they might like just splice in random ideas they have, so they're not tied to this idea. So next month they could come up with like I don't know a hell theme, or
Hell. Yeah,
we both went with hell instinctively. I don't know
I know.
why, but it just does. It
Uh,
makes no sense for this game because it's a really
I would
relaxing game.
no, that would make it better. Relaxing
Oh,
hell.
they
Like
did it.
demons would be sleeping.
I picked this up in the Halloween sale because they have one map that is like a spooky castle, which is why it
Oh,
qualified for the
okay.
Halloween sale.
Right,
Um,
okay.
so they could do a hell map, I guess. But the most relaxing methodical lost villages into the most terrible places to play golf. Hell, um,
Yeah. I
a
just feel like it'd be a
a
good
motel.
juxtaposition.
I feel like I was gonna say something, but then I forgot. So let's end it there. Resident Evil 4 VR mercenary modes has been leaked. So there's been a leak revealing that in 2022, the very popular Resident Evil 4 VR port is getting the mercenary modes from the original Resident Evil 4 as sort of a included as an up as like a free update for the game, which is really cool to see. It's not really cool to see the fact that I cannot play this on PC VR. I wish there
Yeah.
was a way like Resident Evil 4, 7, Hitman 3. There was some way you could play them on PC. I don't know. We'll have to talk about that next week. Um, Next up, Shell Games, the creators behind I Expect You to Die. What else does Shell Games is like one of the big cool VR developers. They also do what else Until You Fall, right? That's another big one they do. I Expect You to Die too. But yeah, Shell Games makes really cool VR games, and their next game they're working on, they're making a VR game you can play in a car. Is their next like thing that they're working on, which I think is like a really interesting idea. So it's going to be called Cloudbreaker, and it's going to be built from a platform called HoloRide, which is a platform that tracks locational and navigational data from a vehicle and implements that into the VR experience. So the way it's
Okay.
going to work is you put the headset on when you're like a passenger in a car. I got to stress, passenger in a
When you're
car.
driving,
Imagine you're
yeah.
driving, you're like, the cars in front of me are so realistic. But you remember when you were sat in the back of a car as a kid and you would like run your fingers along the window and you would jump over buildings as you drove past them? I guess it's kind of taking that idea and you're going to be like fighting enemies in third person. And as you go through the dungeon, daring yourself to stay longer to difficulty increases. When you're in game, lines at the bottom of the screen represent driving along the road, so it will change based on the locomotion data from the car ride. So that's going to be really interesting to see, like how the game changes based on how you're moving in the car. Like, could this potentially help someone who gets car sick? Like,
Uh,
I don't know.
Maybe?
Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
if you're able to like see the movement of the road while you have the headset on, it might help with like someone who gets car sick if they're distracted while in a car without seeing the road. I mean,
I I thought the reason why you get sick though is because like you're being separated like your ear is being separated from your visuals. So would that actually tie it together any better than like actually just
mm,
being looking at the
yeah, that's the
road?
question with VR is you move in the game and then your ear liquid doesn't move and
Yeah.
it fucks you up. Um,
So I don't know. I'm not sure about that. It seems to be like the same difference to me. So like be equally. I don't know. I'd
we'll
have to
have to
see it,
see.
but
Let's move on to oh god, I'm almost too asked. Delays, cancellations, and announcement. The Steam Deck has been delayed by 2 months. And the reasons everyone's giving: chips shortage, nothing new, COVID, everything's being delayed. Pragmatic. The best way I saw this described was it's Capcom's Death Stranding, where they keep showing trailers that show you absolutely nothing about the game. I don't know if you remember this, but it was like there was a weird girl, and then there was like a guy on the moon, and then it started going really trippy. And it just reminds me of those Death Stranding trailers where you see Norman Reedus, and he's just like in a field of like fish flying from the sky, and I'm just like, what the fuck's going on?
I feel like we saw this. We both joked that it's like it's the next Strand like game.
It's the
I
next
think.
Strand type game, Pragmata. Yeah. Saints Row reboot remake. It's been delayed to 23rd of August 2022. Move on to business news. Apple. This is kind of huge. Apple has announced their self-service repair. So Apple parts, tools, and manuals starting with the iPhone 12 and 13 will be available to individual consumers in order to repair their own devices. Fingers crossed that this goes well, because Apple still has a lot of chances to fuck this up. But
that's my favorite quote. It's like Apple could still fuck this up.
But this is like
I will. I just remind everyone that there's already been like a repair program that Apple did, and it was like it's just like a glorified PR stunt. So like this still could be a dumb piece of shit.
But it feels like
hopefully not.
A big thing about Apple for the longest time was they are very anti self repair. You got an iPhone that's broken, get a new iPhone. We release one every year.
Yeah, it's in their best interest not to have it fixable, because their entire business model and their entire approach to like how they make money is like selling new shiny things to maintain like market dominance.
But it seems like if you're on an older iPhone, I'm sorry, you're out of luck. But available first for the iPhone 12 and the 13, and soon to be followed by Mac computers featuring the M1 chip. Self-service repair will be available in early next year in the US, expanded to additional countries throughout 2022. Customers join more than 5,000 Apple authorized services providers, AASPs, and 2,800 independent repair providers who have access to these parts, tools, and manuals. So the initial phase of the program will focus on the most commonly serviced modules, so be focused on the ability to replace or repair your display, your battery, camera, and the ability for additional repairs will be available later next year.
I think I've already seen criticism of like charging ports aren't really being like properly handled here. So there's already like things missing.
Yeah, I assume that's coming later, but again, it's Apple.
Hopefully, but I don't trust Apple.
They could definitely fuck this up. There's no way.
Yeah. I will say that they are being pushed by like regulatory bodies and like their own it's like what like there's like in that investment group like wanted them to make things more repairable.
Yeah, and they are being pushed by external factors as well, like the EU and stuff.
Yeah. So there's regulations coming in place.
There's they're clamping down on e-waste, and like specifically because we saw with the fact that they want all iPhones to use the USB-C port to stop people having e-waste from the all the different chargers that people have, especially
considering Apple have a USB-C charger that you have to buy separately now. It would make a lot of sense.
So the fact that you could repair your old iPhone instead of throwing it away as e-waste, that would be another pro-environmental move, which is probably why they're doing this. A lot of like outside pressure as well as the internal.
Hopefully it's not greenwashing or just massive PR stunt, and hope this is actually useful. But I'm not holding my breath. But my fingers are crossed.
How many? I know there's definitely a lot of people are gonna use this stuff, but when it comes to the broad like mass market, this stuff should always exist. But how many people do you think would actually use this self-repair service rather than just getting a new phone, sort of thing?
People with no money.
Right, but like the general population, how many of them do you think are gonna use this service?
I see a lot of people who are like, I just wish I could hold on to my old iPhone. But I also see a lot of people like, why the fuck would I even use this? But I think like they seem to like feel like they're being attacked, like ideologies being
Yeah,
attacked.
I
So
think
I don't really trust
I,
that.
I would never say this thing shouldn't exist. It should always exist. But I was just wanted to ask the question
Um,
of how useful is
my
this
my
to most
biggest my
people?
biggest concern is like how like I don't trust myself to repair myself.
Right.
I want someone else to
I
do it.
I wouldn't open one of my like electronics myself
So
unless
I kind
it
of
was
feel
beyond
like
repair.
in my opinion, they're kind of like they're trying to like appease the public, but they should really like giving like more resources to people like Lewis Rossman so they can repair it for me.
Right.
I don't want to do it myself.
Yeah, that's a good point. Where if you
But at the same time, though, they have good instructions that's like easy to follow. Like it might actually like teach people how to not be afraid.
mm,
I don't know. Yeah, I
all
feel
right.
like most people won't use it though.
That's just my devil advocate question for
Yeah.
this. Just to
Was it? I mean, is it devil advocate? It's like it just still exists, but will people use it?
yeah. Unity to acquire Weta Digital VFX Text Division for $1.6 billion. I wrote in the notes here they made the monkey films. I always write jokes into my notes that make me laugh, but I don't always read them out. But like, just so you know, every time I'm writing notes for the podcast, I write jokes to myself that make me laugh, and I don't always tell you about them. So yeah, they made the Planet of the Apes CGI. It's Peter Jackson's company, so they did the Lord
Oh,
of the
it's them.
Rings
Oh,
Gollum
okay.
CGI, and they did all the CGI for the Planet of the Apes
Oh, that's
movies.
cool.
So they're based in New Zealand, and they're being bought up by Unity. It seems like Unity was making this big push to be used in more like film stuff because they already like Unity was used for like the Mandalorian in like the
Hmm.
when I saw the behind the scenes where it was all shot like the back of it was all like a digital screen, like a big.
Well, yeah, if it's like a game engine would like almost be perfect for that, right? If you need to like move it around
Yeah, they
more,
were using Unity in order to
and
create all the
you're moving it in real
backgrounds
time. So yeah,
with
that does make
realistic
sense.
lighting. That wouldn't have,
Yeah.
yeah, but it seems like as I've always said, Unity Thanos glove acquisition. They've got another
Yeah.
the gem of the monkey has been put onto the Infinity Gauntlet.
I'm just thinking of like the
Finally,
Jackie Chan
finally,
talismans.
finally, monkey gem, monkey talisman. That's
Nah,
a
yeah, I can't stop thinking of Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan Adventures. I will not do an impersonation of Jackie's uncle because I feel like
Why not?
it'll be very racist at this point.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what he sounds like though.
Ukulele developer, the ukulele developer, publisher Platonic, plots a new studio following a major Tencent investment. That's right, games.
Okay.
Indie developer publishers are not safe from the grasp of China. Tencent's got their hands on Platonic now, so
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Let's see how that one goes. And then Big Daddy THQ Embracer Group is expected to acquire another 37 or so studios
What?
in the next
Oh,
year.
for goodness sake!
I'm telling you, it's a race to see who can get the most talismans. And this new Jackie
The
Chan adventure analogy we've made up.
the megacorp Jackie Chan and the mega corporations.
Yeah.
This is the problem. It's like we
Who's
need more
Jackie?
laws to protect
Who's
them.
Jackie Chan? Is Jackie Chan Embracer Group?
Uh,
Who's the person we want to get the talismans?
I don't think we've seen the protagonist yet. That's what I'm gonna say.
The only one where I'm okay with the acquisitions so far has been Embracer and Microsoft are the ones where I'm like, yeah, I think this is okay. They're acquiring a lot of
I'm
studios.
Yeah, I'm still concerned about Microsoft. I still think the jury's out on that one. I think what we've currently seen is good, but I'm really concerned in the long term, like what's going to happen.
Yep. But it makes perfect sense for Microsoft for their business model.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just concerned that eventually they'll turn it around and go, well, fuck everyone. We've like got this like
Microsoft sells
market
consoles at cost because they are another way for you to buy Xbox Game Pass. They are an Xbox
share. Oh
Game
yeah,
Pass company, and they
but
need
what
new
happens when
studios to make
everyone already has
games.
Xbox Game Pass though?
It's what they'll keep making stuff.
They'll be like, right, you no longer buy the games. You now just have to get the Xbox Game Pass.
As they don't care if you get the games as long as it's like Netflix, Tony. As long as you're subscribed to the
have
service.
a funny feeling at some point they'll realize what they've got, and they'll then extort it. and
Oh,
I don't know. I don't trust
we're
them.
2 hours in. I don't want to delay anymore, but did we talk about removing the dislike button on YouTube?
Oh god, no, we haven't.
I think we talked about it on a Tangerine, maybe,
Yeah, we
or a
talked on a
Spotlight.
tangerine. I mentioned
Basically,
it.
YouTube removing the dislike button is so fucking dumb because it hurts
I
consumers being able to tell if a video is
ugh.
dangerous or
It
useful.
yeah, it's not quite the same, but it's like almost the same. It's like removing like how positive a review on Steam is, but you get to see how many reviews there are.
Imagine if you launched a store without a review system or a shopping cart,
Yeah, imagine that. I still
like
think that should
without
be
user
that should be.
reviews.
I personally think every online store should have like
Anyway,
independent reviews.
let's move on to. Oh my god, there's more. Main news: Riot Forge. Do you remember Riot Forge, where the popular video game maker League of Legends was like, "Hey, we're gonna be Riot Games, and we're gonna make more games," and people were like, they should have like ruined King, the game they were gonna make about like the Shadow Isles, and then they were like, it seemed like people kind of forgot about it, and then they made Valorant, and that was super popular, and then it was like, oh, they make League and Valorant, and then they do like, they still do TFT, and then there was like the card game, which I heard is really fun, and it has. Well, I've played the card game of League, and I think it is fun. But I just something just wasn't keeping me hooked on playing it, and I have heard though they're putting out a new expansion for the Legends of Runeterra, and
Right.
apparently it's like they have like a single player campaign with a story, and I'm like, that sounds like
Oh,
prime Tony content, like
yeah, it does.
single
Count me
player
in.
card game story.
Add some challenges as well. I'm in.
But they were like, hey guys, Riot Forge still exists, and we've got a bunch of games to announce. So I think it was about last week. They actually just straight up released one called Hextech Mayhem, a League of Legends story. So there's a character, I know you won't know most of them, called Ziggs.
Or any of them. Okay,
Yeah,
right.
I used to play League about, oh god, I haven't played in about 6 years.
10 years ago.
Well, I literally started playing like 10 years ago, yes. So
Right.
but I haven't played in about 6 years. I keep watching the esports and I keep up with like
Yeah,
news
you used to
around it
watch.
sort of thing.
Right, right.
But they have released a fast-paced rhythm runner where you play Ziggs running away from Heimerdinger. So
What?
it's a
What are those ones?
those are two characters. They're yordles. Yordles are like little people in like little creatures. Basically,
Okay.
it's like a rhythm auto runner sort of thing.
Right. Okay.
Where you
It's a
have to
mobile
like,
game.
yeah, that's what it seems. It's got some mixed
Is it
reviews.
on mobile?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Should it be?
It's got mixed reviews. The biggest criticism I read previously when I saw this go up on Steam was the user review saying that the big problem was it didn't have customizable keys. Like
Oh,
you
okay.
couldn't change the key bindings, which was like kind of unacceptable for a game release system. And I was thinking, and I
Yeah.
immediately went, why the hell would Riot Games release a game that didn't have customizable keys? And then I was like, wait, this is Riot Forge. It's Riot's IPs with random companies. Like it's not Riot's, fault that the game's released like without customizable keys. Like you've got to remember these Riot Forge games are made by third-party developers with the IPs of
Yeah.
Riot.
So they can do what they like. Well, I say
Let's
they do
see.
it how they want to do it.
So someone's made what seems like a quite good review. A pro and con list. Pros: soundtrack is arcadey, art style is fun, cutscenes and voice acting adds a lot of comedy. Um, Lots of extra things to blow up as hidden gears, multiple subtle options. Levels are short and sweet. Cons: it's expensive for what feels like a mobile game. Game launched without controller rebind options. I don't want to be rude, but why? It's a rhythm game, 2021. It needs control rebind options, which I saw was soon again.
Yeah.
No option to take the game off borderless. You can't run exclusive full screen. Okay. Can only
It's
play as
interesting. I mean,
Ziggs and use
I'm a
emote.
full borderless guy, but I understand people don't want that. So yeah, that's weird.
But yeah, it seems like it's sort of like mobile tier. It's still pretty. It's like £8. It's
I
still
would.
pretty cheap, but it
Yeah,
could.
I
It
think
feels like
£4 mobile game. That sounds fun.
it feels like it could have been like a free to play game
Like I
almost.
would actually. I don't know. I kind of think I'd like to play it like on my phone more than on PC. To be honest with you.
The next one was Ruined King. Was one that we actually saw a lot about. It was like the sort of, I think it was like turn-based combat. It looked sort of like Slay the Spire, not Slay the Spire, sorry. Darkest Dungeon,
Right.
and with a bunch of different lead characters like Pike, Yasuo, Ari, those sort of people, and it looked really fun. And then it got delayed for a long time, and people were like, "Oh, it's been delayed," and it wasn't going to come out for a long time. But then Riot Forge stream come and like, and the game is out, and people were like,
Just
"What?"
like that.
I thought this game was delayed, but apparently it's out now. Let's read there's a store page. I think initially I saw it on Epic, but it seems like it's got a Steam version as well. So let's read the reviews. It seems very positive compared to the Hextech one.
Okay.
People are saying it's not got multiplayer, so it means I don't have toxic people in my games. 10 out of 10. That's a meme comment. Okay. People are just commenting better than League of Legends. Okay, that's not useful reviews. I hate these funny reviews.
Yeah, can you filter out don't show funny reviews?
People will mark this as funny. Yeah, that would be useful.
Because like then you can have like you can have your cake. Oh, sorry, you can eat your cake and have it too. So like you could like I'm gonna make a funny review, but it won't like people can get rid of it. So they're not complaining about it.
Some people say the lore, character, art direction's good. The turn-based gameplay is good. RPG elements are good. Good voice acting. Good price. It has fixed cameras. Some keybind remaps don't work. No fast travel. No minimap. Character customization is a good thing, but kind of limited. It seems like there's some mixed stuff, but it's mostly positive. This one's much more positive than the other one. But we do get some more announcements of games that are coming out. So Song of Nunu. So it seems like you play as Nunu and Willemp. Yes, I know the name of the kid that exists on Nunu's head because I used to play the game. And it's also going to be...
Wait, who's Nunu?
Nunu is the kid. And Willemp is the name of the creature. Yes. I believe it's that way. Yeah, the Yeti named Willemp. Yeah, it's that way around. And then there's also this game's so it seems like Ruined King was focusing on like lots of different characters, whereas Hextech was just focusing on Ziggs and Heimerdinger, and then this game's just focusing on Nunu and Lissandra, like and going for that like winter theme with the character, which is pretty cool. I think that's a better idea from what I've seen, where there's lots of characters in like the League lore and story, but I think it's probably easier if you just take one character and then really focus on the gameplay. That's probably like an easier way to buckle down the game.
That does make more sense. Yeah.
But Song of Nunu is a League of Legends story. It's been announced for all the consoles and PC. You play as Nunu and Willemp, and Lissandra will also be there in an exploration adventure, and it's by Tequila Works, the devs behind a game called Rime. Rime was an indie platformer exploration game with light puzzling mechanics with no combat. So it seems like it's going to be like a sort of an adventure game where it's more like exploration based, with sort of puzzle mechanics, with like probably not as much combat as like a normal platformer sort of thing. So that'd be interesting.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
It looks pretty relaxing. It looks pretty good. So I think this is the one I'm most interested in, is the Song of Nunu, because it has the most interesting concept, and I like platform stuff, and it's also made by a reputable dev who made Rime. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. We also got a teaser trailer for Convergence, which is an Echo time manipulation game. Could it just be Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, but with Echo instead?
I
don't know if you know, Tony, but Echo is so hot right now. Apparently, he's one of the characters in the Netflix show that just came out. So
right.
So okay, if you don't, there's a Netflix show that just came out for League of Legends called Arcane.
I did see that.
and some of the main characters focused are Jinx, Vi, and Echo, and I think Jace as well, and maybe Singed. I haven't watched it, but I know the characters, and I read the League Reddit to watch roster rumors for esports. But I know like these characters are insanely popular right now because so many people are starting to play all these games because they've seen the Netflix show and it's super popular. I haven't seen Arcane, but I've heard it's like it's really highly rated on like IMDb or something.
I have a weird story about that actually, like a
Go
small
on.
story. One of my friends was like going through Netflix one day, like saw this like new animation
Yeah.
series called, started watching it. It's like, wait a minute, do I know these characters? Then I think, and then like in the description, it's like, wait, for League of Legends. So it has happened. I know anecdotal evidence that it's happened where people watch it who didn't know it was League of Legends.
But yeah, that was just like a teaser trailer, so we don't really know anything about this game. It's being developed by Double Stallion Games, who made some other games like Speed Brawl, Big Action Mega Fight. I mean, not really like big hits. I know what Speed Brawl is because they gave it away free on Epic, and I said, this looks kind of fun, and it has multiplayer. That's why I know what that game is. But yeah, hopefully it's interesting. We don't know anything about it. Final piece of Riot stuff. So this is Riot Forge, where it's stuff made by third-party developers with Riot's IP, and then there's also Riot X Arcane, which is their, I guess it's their new thing where they're like, we're going to make animated series, we're going to make games, we're going to make everything for this big Riot X Arcane cinematic universe. So this is going to be characters specifically based on like the Arcane series, I guess. It's going to focus like Jinx, Vi, Echo.
Right, okay.
And for the longest time, you remember when I was talking about the new Riot game stuff where they were talking about like, we're going to make a game called Valorant, and then we've also got, we're going to make an MMO. We're going to make a fighting game called Project L. We've actually got an update for Project L, where they showed off like brand new gameplay for it. So it's a Riot fighting game. They say it's made tons of progress since we last saw it, which I guess was in like 2020 or 2019 when we saw that.
It's been quite a while now.
It will not be shipping in 2021, so it won't be shipping this year, which is about a month. Anyway, and it will not be. And they said it will not be shipping next year either, so it's probably going to be coming out 2023 at the earliest. So we'll have to see more about that.
I'm glad they're allowed to have they have time to make these games. I feel like a lot of games recently, like there's no time.
It's going to be an assist-based fighter. So if you don't know what that is, basically you play as a character, and then you sort of tag in another character. So you get to choose. So before every fight, you get to choose two characters, and you can like combo their moves together. That's what an assist-based fighter is, sort of thing.
Okay, that sounds cool.
Yeah, they're quite popular. I think. Have I played an assist-based fight? I don't play many fighting games, but I think the only assist-based fighter I've ever played would be Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm on the Xbox 360. That's the only one I can think of.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I have played an assist fighter. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. I think they started making it, and they were like, let's make Darius versus Ari, and then they were like, Arcane came out, and they were like, we need to make sure this is set specifically in the Arcane thing, because this thing is insanely popular. we need to make sure this Arcane stuff is front and center, because we'll get so many more people playing this game. That's just.
That's fair enough. Like focusing on a single universe makes more cohesive games, I guess.
But anyway, we have to keep going because we're almost at old podcast lengths of 2.5 hours, and I still have more to talk about.
I think we will be by the time we're done.
Fuck Bobby Kotick. According to a Wall Street Journal report, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick told an employee he would have her killed. He kept an executive from being fired after a sexual harassment claim was made against him, and he didn't tell his board of alleged rapes and other misconducts. So I don't know if I think I talked about this briefly before the podcast, and I said like it's insane. Like HR was called in about this executive who had this.
Is that a director, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, so HR recommended he was fired, but Bobby Kotick went over HR and said, "Don't fire him. He's made me a lot of money by overseeing a lot of successful Call of Duty games for
I think,
Activision."
yeah.
Which is why he
I
wasn't
think
fired, and he was given counselling so he could remain at
he
the
was like
company.
moved position and given counselling, from what I remember. But I think like last time we talked about this topic, I think Bobby Kotick's response was, "Oh, he has like." Oh no, sorry, his lawyer's response was like he has like no involvement in like
Hmm.
what's going on in the company. It's like reports recently have like really shown that's really not true. Like it turns out like he knew all about almost all of these incidents.
I mean, since the California filed the suit against Activision Blizzard, the company has received more than 500 internal reports of sexual harassment, assault, and other
Oh my
issues.
god, that
So
is insane.
they're even being faced with another investigation, a new SEC investigation. So this is like a reliable source because this dropped from the Wall Street Journal,
Yeah.
which is a reputable source, unless they're talking about PewDiePie, of course.
Well,
Um,
yeah, Wolf don't always get it right, but from what I can tell about like the article writer for this one, that they seem to have like not messed anything up here. So
so there was calls for Bobby Kotick's resignations intensify as basically every employee of Activision Blizzard staged a walkout. I believe.
yeah, it's like a second walkout, right? Like we've already had like
Mm,
a really big one. There's like another one because of what? Because like didn't the Bobby Kotick like send that down? Sorry, didn't Bobby Kotick ask one of his employees to send a message to everyone in Activision Blizzard pretending it was her,
mm.
saying that Bobby Kotick's actually a nice guy, actually?
Yes, we had the advocacy group ABK Works Alliance recently published a document signed by 500 employees calling for Bobby Kotick's removal as the CEO. There was a walkout. I think there was a lot of employees, like 500, over 500 employees were walking out on this in order to protest against Bobby Kotick.
What the? Yeah, didn't we get like more information from like ex Activision Blizzard
Mm.
employees as well?
About what?
About like the walkout, like wanting Bobby, kind of corroborating like certain reports and like asking for Bobby Kotick like should be removed as well.
Well, Activision Blizzard put out a statement regarding the recent article from the Wall Street Journal that said absolutely nothing and ignored details, including the allegations brought up against Bobby Kotick himself. They just kind of glossed over that and like, let's not talk about that. That's not good
Yeah,
for
I
Bobby
saw it as
Kotick.
just like we're focused on the future and not like and glossing over
Because it
like
seemed
the
like
details.
initially there was a group of shareholders that wanted to get rid of Bobby Kotick, and then when it came down to it, a lot of the shareholders at Activision Blizzard are Bobby Kotick's friends, and they're protecting him from
And they
being
make money.
fired. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you heard recently, but apparently Bobby Kotick. I read this today. Apparently, Bobby Kotick said, if the workplace culture has not been addressed, then he will consider stepping down from Activision Blizzard. Basically,
Right.
he's saying he's saying that to appease people for PR, but that
Well,
means he has zero obligation to step down at
well,
all.
he's also not taking. He's like basically saying that he had nothing to do with the current problems. Whereas
Yep.
like everyone else is like, no, like you helped create this awful structure. You created this harassment in a way, and it's like you should step down because of that.
Mm. I feel like I think I said like the last time we talked about Activision Blizzard, I was done talking about them, but it's just like
It keeps
this
coming
this
up,
stuff just keeps coming, and I feel like I got to talk about it at this point because
and I think more stuff's gonna come in the future as well. And it's not. It's definitely not the end.
it's just it feels bad to say that it's not surprising anymore when I just find out how terribly people are treated at video game companies these days.
Yeah, it does suck.
It's sort of becoming the norm, and it's
Like
fucking
crunch,
terrible.
harassment, sexism, racism,
Mm-hmm. The
just as normal.
Xbox chief Phil Spencer said he is reevaluating all aspects of our relationship with Activision Blizzard and making ongoing proactive adjustments. I believe Sony also put out statements against Activision Blizzard as well.
Well, if
So
they do something about it, that'd be great. But
interesting
believe
to see
them.
if they actually put pressure on Activision Blizzard or
Yeah.
not. We also, well, speaking of, I know, you know, people. I fucking love Microsoft right now. I think they're doing fantastic things, and I think Phil
Yeah.
Spencer is the exact person to be running that company. He also
Yeah,
said
Phil Spencer's good.
He actually went out and said he was wary of exploitative NFT gaming projects. So it seems like Phil Spencer's on our side against NFTs right now because there is a lot of this like NFT cash grab sort of crap that's going out.
Yeah, I think even if you're pro NFT, I think you can acknowledge that they're also like scam NFT stuff as well. And it's good to be against that.
And then finally, in our news about video game harassments and stuff like that, Ubisoft has announced pay rises to stop developers from leaving. So instead of
That's how you do that.
instead of fixing their corporate work culture, they're going to try and pay them more. And this sounds good until you realize the raises are highest for those who are actually being paid the best already, prompting criticism that it will only fuel inequality more. So
some of the people at the top are the ones doing it in the first place.
So junior staff will receive a 5 to 7% increase, while the most senior staff could see their pay increase by up to 20%. That would mean a low-level designer might see a $50,000 salary a year increase by $2,500, while a high-level developer making $100,000 a year could see as much as a $20,000 increase in their salary. So you can see how, like, when I put it into financial terms of that, you can see like how big a difference this is based on where you are at the company, and it's still
the people at the top will be making almost half the amount as the people below them started on, basically, as an additional cost or additional income.
But yeah, there's an example of how this is going to affect. But it seems like this is another gesture move from another company that's known to abuse their employees. So
and to employee abusers.
Yeah. Okay. There's no Peter Molyneux tweet this week, guys. But that's the end of the podcast. We will be back. How many more podcasts do we have this year? We must have what?
3?
3, right?
I want to say 3.
Yeah. So we'll have coming up probably the Steam Awards. Then Games of the Year. The Christmas special, where I'll probably wear a Santa hat or something, and then we'll do our New Year's stuff, I guess. We don't have any like crazy anniversary, right? Where I guess it'll be 5 years.
If anything, this would, I don't know. This is the midway between 100 and 200, I guess.
Anyway, that was
a big Chungus special.
That was a very long podcast, and I actually cut news out of this week. So, yeah, if you like Jaybird Vista reviews, make sure to like and subscribe for more. You can check us out and everything in between podcast on YouTube, twitch.tv/Scorn if you want to watch live, and at Scorn2000 on Twitter if you want to follow me there for some ungodknown reason. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.